And ESPN welcomes you to NASCAR Countdown as a gorgeous Sunday afternoon begins to yield to an evening at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, where the long tradition of NASCAR racing on Labor Day weekend continues tonight with a 500-miler on one of NASCAR's fastest tracks. The 25th race of this season means different things to different drivers. For some, it's about looking for a clutch performance that could not only give them a hard-to-come-by trophy, but a boost in the race to the chase. While for others, it's all about winning the race, gaining momentum, and gaining some ground in the seeding for the upcoming championship run. Let's begin tonight with the championship picture. Remember that the top 12 drivers after race 26 will compete for the title. Entering race 25 tonight, the top two, Kevin Harvick and Jeff Gordon, are locked into the chase. Much of the rest of the top 11 could lock in tonight, barring trouble, while the 12th and final place is still a question. Clint Bowyer's last in. He leads first out Jamie McMurray by 100 points. Bowyer starts 14th, McMurray 12th. We start with Dave Burns.
So a couple of things to cover with Jamie now. You have won two big events this year, and you won here last night. How much does winning or knowing you can win add to the ability to get to these 100 points the last couple races?
No, we've got some work to do tonight. Our McDonald's Chevrolet was wasn't good enough to win, and it was a tough day for us yesterday. So Bono and the guys made some changes to the car, and hopefully we've made the right changes. This has been a tough track for me, but certainly winning last night makes you feel a little bit better about showing up.
If you had to pick two tracks, and you got Atlanta and Richmond coming up to gain 100 points, where would they rank on your list?
Yeah, they'd be high right now. But really, for us to make the chase, Clint's got to have issues. I don't think us just running well is really gonna put us in the chase. It'll have to be from him having some issues. So we'll have to wait and see.
All right, we'll see what he can do. Remember, he does have momentum from last night's nationwide win.
Well, some folks might say that Clint Bowyer has a comfortable 100-point lead over Jamie McMurray in the final spot for the transfer for the chase. And let's ask him, Clint, how comfortable are you?
They must not be sitting in my shoes, but you know, it's a good lead. 100 points is a lot in this sport, but it can be taken away in one race too. You just got to be able to take care of business, go out there and have fun with this. You know, that's the main thing with these last two races is it's ours to lose. We got to make sure we go out there, take care of business, and just don't beat ourselves.
We saw how things could unravel so quickly here in the final laps in the spring. You go from leading with 10 to go to finishing 23rd. So what is the game plan here tonight?
Well, you just, like I said, you probably won't stay out on old tires like we did, you know, in the springtime. And ended up, you know, we were still doing fine. We were like 4th or 5th, and the guy got loose underneath of us and kind of crashed everybody. But that's part of this sport. I mean, that's how quick things can change. So we just got to go out there and be smart, be conservative, and you know, approach everything, you know, with a little bit of cautious. But, you know, that's the thing. You got to be able to take the gambles when you can and when they're necessary and just do it.
Hey, good luck and have some fun tonight.
All right, we will. Thank you.
Alan?
All right, Doc, thanks. Clint Bowyer talking about being conservative. No need to be conservative for Denny Hamlin, a 5-time winner this year, but winless since mid-June, looking for some momentum after finishing in the 30s 2 of the last 3 races. Hamlin won the pole in qualifying yesterday, his first Coors Light Pole Award of the season. How about getting that win tonight, Jamie Little?
Well, after qualifying, Denny said, I never get the pole. I don't even qualify in the top 10, Denny. So what was the difference yesterday?
Really fast race car. You know, usually we've got to be spot on to even be in the top 15, and our car was just had really good speed right off the truck. So everything that we've started doing in the shop to make our cars better is evidently working.
There's a lot of different agendas in tonight's race, Denny. With you guys sitting 5th in points, what is your plan?
Try to win. You know, my goal right now to start is that this is the chase. I don't believe you can just be lackadaisical and then try to start your momentum at a certain given time. I feel like right now we need to start and pretend this is the chase. That way we're hitting our stride when we get to New Hampshire in 3 weeks.
All right, Denny Hamlin has to finish 20th or better tonight to lock himself in the chase. Alan?
Jamie, thanks. Maybe Hamlin will be involved in another one of those fantastic finishes this track has been known for over 50 years. Inside our ESPN pit studio, we're hoping to get your night off to a fantastic start. And that's a lot of pressure. Alan Bestwick with 2-time Atlanta race winner Rusty Wallace and NASCAR team owner Big Brad Daugherty. We've discussed 2 groups of drivers, the Bubble Boys and the Go For It All guys tonight. Let's talk about how the night will be different for them. How about Hamlin and his bunch?
Well, Denny Hamlin's got a little momentum on his side right now, Al. I mean, great qualifying run out of him. That car is very, very fast. And look, we all known all year long this guy can get it done. Now, look, this is a very, very unique racetrack. Denny seems to have the upper hand right now. He's fast in practice. He's looking good. He's on the front row. But if he can win this race tonight, And mentally, that's going to mean so much of this team going into it. You heard a little while ago, he's going into this race pretending that this is the start of the chase. That much focus, that much excitement going in. So Brad, he's going to be hard to beat in my mind.
Yeah, great mindset for him. And as we talk about, Jamie McMurray and Clint Bowyer, a couple of weeks ago when I was talking to Jamie McMurray right before the Indy race, we were talking about pressure. He says, I know there's pressure on this team because our team won the Daytona 500 to win the 400 so Chip can do the double. He says, but I'm going to deflect that and act like it doesn't even exist. Well, he's saying the same thing here tonight, and we heard that in his interview. He's trying to deflect the pressure. He wants it worse than anything. But that guy, Clint Bowyer, when I talked to him in private this week, he told me this is a good racetrack for him. Next week, Richmond is his favorite racetrack. He's trying to add bonus points, which means he thinks he can win both of these races coming up. Great mindset.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they play it tonight. How about Jimmy Johnson? Let's talk about Mr. Four-time-in-a-row champion, right? After getting wrecked in Bristol, Jimmy's back 9th in points. He's 257 ahead of the cut. It's something strange is going to happen for him to not be in the championship, but you got to be in it to win it. How's he approach tonight?
Well, as you talk to these guys, there's concern in Chad and Jimmy's voice when you talk to them about their situation. See what has happened throughout these last few weeks as guys were kind of more or less locked into those top 6 spots. They started experimenting with their equipment, looking for things that would give them fast race cars come chase time. Well, the 48 team was doing that just like everyone else, but they had something they haven't had in the last 4 years. Bad luck. They got into some incidents that they normally didn't see over the last 4 years, and it's put them in a very precarious position. They have to go out tonight, take care of business, be lucky, be safe, and get a great finish, or they could be out of the chase.
Well, remember one thing. This guy hardly ever screws up once he makes it into the chase. I mean, 4 years in a row he's won this thing, and I've always said for whatever reason, this particular team is always a second-half team. I'm paying a little attention to the problems he's had earlier, but I'm telling you what, guys, mark my word, this cat's going to have to be reckoned with when he gets in that chase.
Yeah.
He's not going away.
Yeah, that's right.
Jimmy Johnson starting very well tonight. He's up in the 7th position on the grid. Now, as we go through the 500-mile race tonight, you're going to hear a lot of talk about tires. This Atlanta track, one of the toughest on the circuit on tires, because there's not much straightaway here. A driver spends more than 60% of each lap in a turn of some sort. For an explanation on how that affects the tires, let's go to our Craftsman Tech Garage and champion crew chief Tim Brewer. Tim?
Thanks, AB. If you're a race car driver here tonight in Atlanta, the 4 best friends you have are these 4 Goodyear Eagles, and you have to take care of them. But prior to the race, you had to really work with the wear pin indicators, making sure that you spread the wire completely across the tire. Because if you put too much camber in, really utilize the inside, it's going to turn good, but you're going to wear it out, probably blow a tire. Look at this right here. You're going to see a lot of this tonight because the abrasive surface and the corners, you're going to have a lot of tire wear here in Atlanta tonight. Alan?
All right, Tim, thanks. And some of these teams have up to a dozen sets of tires mounted up, ready to be used in this 500-mile
Mr. Feel Good, baby.
They're going to need them. They're going to use a lot of them. We talked about Jamie McMurray being the first driver outside the championship cut. Just a single point behind him is this man, Mark Martin. Up next, what makes Mark one of racing's most respected men from those he's mentored over the years?
Without him really knowing it or admitting it, because he'll never admit it, he makes us want to do a better job as individuals and to provide more for the organization.
That story when NASCAR Countdown returns to Atlanta.
NASCAR Countdown is brought to you by Valspar Paint.
Monday night, catch a season-defining game for 2 top 10 teams as Kellen Moore leads the 3rd-ranked Broncos of Boise State against Ryan Williams and the 10th-ranked Virginia Tech Hokies in the All-State Kickoff in the Capitol. It's part of Dick's Sporting Goods Kickoff Week on ESPN Monday at 8 Eastern. College football available on TV, online, and on your phone. Go to ESPN.com for more information. It has been quite the busy sports weekend in Atlanta, the racing here at the track, and lots of college football, including last night's thrilling LSU-North Carolina game. Earlier in the weekend, we had fun introducing Erin Andrews to the thrill of a 180-mile-an-hour stock car.
Hey there, I'm Erin Andrews, sideline reporter and host for ESPN, and here we are at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. I'm used to being on the sidelines of a football game, basketball game, or even on a baseball field. Never once before set foot here at a racetrack. And who better to show me around this track than NASCAR champion Dale Jarrett? Is this right? I don't even know.
There you are.
Hey, what's up?
Welcome.
Thanks for having me. Where am I holding on?
You can hold on to that roll bar.
Okay.
Yeah.
White knuckles here.
Yeah. You ready?
All right. Yes, sir.
Ready to ride?
I love it. Woo! I loved it. It was great. Were you donuts? No, I'm kidding. Hey, I cannot thank you enough. That was amazing. I just have a newfound respect for what you guys do. Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
As fun, much to Erin's credit, DJ said he tried to scare her.
Yeah.
She never flinched.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
That's awesome.
That was here on Thursday at the track, and of course the big football game last night over at the Georgia Dome. Now there's Mark Martin in his 28th season of NASCAR Sprint Cup Series racing. The first of Mark's 40 wins came back in 1989. He's won as many as 7 poles in a season and 7 races in a season. Finished second in the championship a heartbreaking 5 times. Imagine taking the time in a competitive business to help teach someone how to get better, knowing somebody's going to use that knowledge to try and beat you. Well, that's just what Mark Martin has done over the years. Been a mentor to many other drivers. They're more than appreciative.
Mark's been a real mentor to everybody. He just kind of gives you some things to think about. Never really tells you anything to do, just gives you those certain things to think about.
He brings ethics, he brings intensity, he brings a commitment that very few people can match.
There's not anybody in the garage area that does not like Mark Martin. He's always one of those guys that you know you can go to, and if you have a question that you shoot him straight with the question, he's going to give you an honest answer.
His role is kind of the guy who was the veteran leader type that would show everybody how to race.
I'm driving along at Bristol. Mark's behind me. We'd been racing or battling or something. We go down into turn 3, and he just piled me in the, just hit me in the rear bumper. The next day, I called up Mark, and I said, when you hit me there, what was that about? And he said, well, don't take it the wrong way, but that's kind of how you've been racing me, so I figured that's how we're racing. So that's how you want to do it, right? I said, no, sir, that is not how I want to do it. Can we start over? And he said, sure. It was cool that he didn't just, dismiss me. He took the time to explain to me that, why he was doing what he was doing.
At Martinsville, he cut my left rear tire down. I talked to him the next day, and he's like, you're racing way too early for that early in the race, and that's why I kind of got into you. So he's taught me a lesson or two, but he's done it the right way. Without him really knowing it or admitting it, because he'll never admit it, he makes us want to do a better job as individuals and to provide more for the organization.
He's really been my mentor, and we got my foot in the door at Roush Racing and kind of made Jack sign me up before I really did anything in the sport. So Mark's meant a lot to my career.
I know that was the case when I came in. My crew chief and my team owners were like, just model Mark.
He's not only been doing it a long time, he's been competitive and been winning a long time. And, so when you're out there watching and you're thinking, okay, I'm 29 years old. I could do this for a long time if I really put the effort in like Mark has.
Mark is that driver that young guys look at when they come in. And every crew chief, every team owner, everyone uses Mark as that model citizen.
Well, Rusty, you've had a relationship with Mark for a long time. You came from the same part of the country. For someone who's never met him before, how'd you describe him?
I guess I'd have to say this guy is so intense, it's unreal. When you look at the Mark Martin's eyeballs and he talks to you, you're like, man, I can't stop listening to this man. He's very, very intense, and wow, does he understand this car. And then you look and you go, man, this dude sure is little. But he must have a really big right
foot. Wears a size 18 shoe on that right foot.
Yeah, absolutely, Brad. But I don't think I've ever met anybody so focused, understands this car, and wants to win so bad, and also wants to help everybody at the same time.
Yeah, Mark is 101 points behind the bubble, trying to get into the championship again. They haven't won this year. Will he be a factor tonight?
Boy, I really hate to say it because Mark's one of my heroes, but they just have not been able to get the momentum they need to be competitive this year. It seems like it all goes back to the beginning of the season when they moved some of their engineering support away from this team to try to help Dale Earnhardt Jr. And he and Alan Gustafson, his crew chief, they just have not been able to put any type of runs together. But I'll tell you what, Mark Martin is a champion, not because he holds a trophy, but because of the way he carries himself.
starting in 17th position tonight in that 5 car. We'll keep an eye on Mark through the night. In a press conference Saturday, as we check our J-Ski news and notes, team owner Rick Hendrick said Dale Jr. and crew chief Lance McGrew would stay together for next season. Hendrick says he likes the chemistry the two have. Regan Smith has signed a 2-year contract extension with Furniture Row Racing to stay aboard their number 78 car.
Good for him. Good.
And rookie Kevin Conway and his sponsor have moved to Robbie Gordon Motorsports to finish out the season in the 7 car. Talk more about tonight's race in a moment. So much to see and do before one of these big race events starts, which tonight included a little rock and roll from Foreigner playing out on the main front stretch before the main grandstand a minute ago.
Showing your age already.
I know what you meant.
I haven't been waiting for a girl like you, but I've been waiting for the green flag all day long. We're back to Atlanta in a minute.
NASCAR Countdown is brought to you by Valspar Paint.
Just a short while ago, the drivers competing in tonight's race having a photo opportunity with fans who were at the very first race at this Atlanta Motor Speedway some 50 years ago.
Wow.
That first event was on July 31st, 1960. It was a 300-miler won by the great Fireball Roberts.
Wow, I think Tim Brewer was crew chief in that car.
Think he was there?
Yeah.
Perhaps the most memorable race of all time here. The season finale, 1992. Alan Kulwicki won the title by 10 points over Bill Elliott in what was Richard Petty's last Cup race and Jeff Gordon's first.
That's a big comeback.
There you go.
This track was the place where the championship was decided 11 times. Dale Earnhardt pictured there in 1993. Jeff Gordon's got a lot of great memories at this track. 4 wins, crown champion here before. He's hoping to make some more good memories tonight, Mike.
And that's right, Jeff. Alan. And if this car is any indication, it could be a memorable night. If it looks like it was designed by a 3-year-old, that's because it was. Jeff's daughter, Ella, designed this race car in an effort to generate a little bit of exposure for the Jeff Gordon Children's Foundation. And the car looks fantastic, Jeff, but how's it drive?
Well, during the day yesterday it was a handful, but I think everybody had that issue. But I think we're going to be really good tonight. You know, Atlanta's a great track for us, and I certainly got plenty of pressure on me with Ella designing the car. She did an awesome job. We're really proud, to have it on this paint scheme, and thanks to DuPont for allowing us to do it. Do you want to say something?
Do you feel like you brought your dad a little bit of luck tonight?
Yeah. Who's going to win the race? Papa. There you go. Well, we're really excited, and it's Pediatric Cancer Awareness month, so it's very fitting, and the Jeff Gordon Children's Foundation is going to benefit from it, so it's going to be a great night either way, but hopefully I don't disappoint her. That's the most important thing.
And another important thing as well, Alan, getting to victory lane. So far, Jeff Gordon winless on the season, looking for some bonus points heading into the chase, trying to bring Papa's car to victory lane.
Yeah, artist Sam Bass having a hand in designing that with Ella. He was standing behind Jeff there during the interview. Let's talk about some other drivers besides Jeff to watch tonight. 3 in particular who've had great runs at this place lately. How about Kurt Busch in the Deuce?
Oh, he's going to be really good. He's qualified 11th tonight, and he has dominated at this particular racetrack, Alan. He flat knows how to get around here. Don't be surprised if Kurt Busch up and wins this thing again.
Kurt, our in-race reporter tonight. Casey Kane starting 10th, Brad.
I tell you, he's done a great job this year in a kind of a lame duck situation, but, his 11 wins, half have come at mile-and-a-half racetracks, and he has 2 wins here. I think Casey Kane could be a factor. It's been checkers or records for him, though, all year. Tell you what.
We'll hope it's the former, not the latter. How about Juan Pablo Montoya, Rusty?
Yeah, don't be surprised if this guy can win the race either. I'll never forget 2007. He finishes 5th. His first time here at Atlanta. He flew around this racetrack all day long, and I'm thinking, hey, man, this isn't right. This guy's not supposed to be this good right off the bat, but he finished 5th. And he's good here at Atlanta.
Finished 3rd the last 2 races. Maybe that first oval track win comes tonight in Atlanta. All right, so this big, fast mile-and-a-half track. We've talked about tire wear and how that'll be a factor. This is one of the drivers' favorite tracks. Why will this be a great race to watch tonight?
Well, it starts during the day, and it's going to end at night. There's going to be a lot of changing things going on, multiple grooves. They're going to start on the bottom of the track, move to the middle, move to the top, and look for a lot of things to happen when it gets dark. That's when the chassis are really going to change, and because of all those reasons, it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, and as it gets dark, does the grip level come back up like we think it will? And if it does, you're going to see guys really taking advantage of opportunities to advance on the racetrack. What does that mean? Hard racing, trying to get those spots spots, get those extra inches, give yourself an opportunity to be there in the end. So I think we're going to see aggressive racing.
And, of course, Atlanta known for fantastic finishes as well. So will we have another one of those fantastic finishes? Will it be one of these drivers rolling into victory lane after 500 miles? Who locks into the chase? Who gets locked out? How many cups of coffee can Rusty drink in 500 miles? And how many pounds of trail mix will Brad eat? The answers to these questions are coming up.
Stuff like that's a little bitter.
Getting ready for 500 miles of NASCAR Sprint Cup racing at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Our ESPN Live coverage presented by Pennzoil. 325 laps around this mile-and-a-half-plus oval. It's a favorite of the drivers because they can use all its wide corners to hunt for the place their car handles best and where they can find the grip they need to try and get that hard-to-win trophy. Championship chase just 2 races away, including tonight. Could make Labor Day happy for some, not quite as happy for others. It's time for the opening ceremony.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as the U.S. Army Reserve Command out of Fort McPherson, Georgia, presents our nation's colors. Remain standing as Coach Joe Gibbs offers tonight's invocation.
Let's pray. Father, we celebrate the fact that we serve an all-powerful, all-knowing, and all-loving God. And we thank you for the fact, Father, that you loved us enough to make us. We're no accidents. You made us knowing that at times we were going to disappoint you. And you were willing to send your Son, Jesus Christ, to this earth and let him pay the price for those sins. We thank you for that, and we acknowledge the fact that you're our Lord and Savior. Father, tonight, give us a safe race, give us safe travel home. And Father, we pray that we would honor you with everything we do tonight. In thy name we pray. Amen.
In honor of our troops, please place your right hand over your heart as Ernie Haas and Signature Sound perform our national anthem.
Lighting the afterburners on those jets and about to light these race cars up and set off underway. A couple of other drivers to mention before we start. Ryan Newman on the front row, still on the fringe of the chase hunt, but a long shot. What a win tonight would mean for he and his team. And Kyle Busch starting third in points, a former Atlanta winner looking for his 4th win of this season and those bonus points for the championship. Those drivers and many more set off in search of victory when the engines fire. Next.
NASCAR Sprint Cup Series at Atlanta is presented by Pennzoil. Feel the clean. And in part by Coca-Cola. Open a Coke and enjoy the race. And Chevrolet. Every model is backed by a 100,000-mile 5-year powertrain limited warranty.
Weeks in, 2 races left until the chase. As the gasoline breeze of determination roars out of the pits, we salute, we honor, we steal a rearview glance at all that we have witnessed together. 2.5 months we waited out the silence of a NASCAR winter, and the familiar sound we all love was back, and louder than ever. The old have-at-it boys style of racing resonated through NASCAR once again, freeing drivers, crews, and making us embrace the past. NASCAR had given the nod, the knowing glance. It was here in Atlanta we got our first taste of what this slogan means.
And the 99 has turned over Brad Keselowski.
Look at that thing go. You know what? I think this was Carl Edwards' payback for what happened earlier in this race.
A season full of ups and downs that separated the followers from the chasers. One man claimed 2 of the biggest races of the year. One team proved to the world and themselves they are back. One scored a feat as rare as they come.
Kyle Busch, the first man ever to sweep all 3 Touring Series.
One disappointment after another for some. One injury that would not deny.
Denny Hamlin, 3 weeks after major surgery, comes back here and wins.
One amazing road trip. One unforgettable season that has given us all reason to rise. 2 races left. 2 chances at the chase. Too bad only 12 will succeed. For their team, themselves, for us. Together, this is Atlanta. This is NASCAR.
An eventful and fun 2010 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series season leading us to tonight, race 25. ESPN's live coverage coming to you from the Atlanta Motor Speedway, presented by Pennzoil. Random quirk: since this Atlanta track was made into its current shape, only one driver that started on the pole has won the race. 1 for 26, something Denny Hamlin would like to change tonight. Let's go trackside and get him fired up.
Race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Here to give the command, please welcome our Grand Marshal, Emory Healthcare's 500th heart transplant recipient, Terry Mr. 500 Green.
Good evening. On behalf of Emory Healthcare, the Atlanta Motor Speedway, we would like to salute organ donor families, living donors, and prayer warriors everywhere. And now, gentlemen, start your engines.
Crank them up, Gene. Crank them up. Feel confident up there? Crank it up, fired up. And fired up when ready. Long right top, that's your spot. Right there, boys. We've got a good box. Well, whose pit box is next? They're coming in pretty. Thanks, Randy. I think it's the next opening.
With the engines fired and the field getting ready to roll off, that means it's time to go racing, which for us means it's time to head upstairs to the booth. We say hello tonight to Marty Reed, Andy Petrie, and the newest member of the National Motorsports Press Association Hall of Fame to be inducted in January. Congratulations and well-deserved, Dale Jarrett.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And he's going to be inducted along with Waddell Wilson and the great writer Tom Higgins, and it is a special honor. Way to go.
Congratulations.
Really,
thank you.
We sort of surprised him on that. He
This is
didn't know
the guy
that
that got it started right here for me, so I have to thank him. Started together.
All right, well, let's talk about the race tonight, because if you were with us last night for the nationwide event, you know that tire fall off was a big issue, as much as 14 miles an hour. Is it going to be better or worse tonight?
It's going to be about the same. I mean, the difference, or the difference in speed, is because the tires just wear out here. This surface is very challenging for Goodyear. They've done a good job. They brought a great tire here. Talked to a lot of guys down in the garage. They said it's a really good tire, but you're still going to see that speed fall off. I mean, we're not going to see the tires fall off, but they do fall off in speed, and we'll see that. And every time that caution comes out, they'll be hollering for 4 tires.
All right, let's also talk about the fact strategy last night. Kevin Harvick started with a 12-second lead at one point, stayed out longer than everybody else, ended up, by the time he came through, 8 seconds behind, a 20-second gap. Will that happen tonight?
You can't afford to do that, and these race drivers are going to be, as soon as they know they're past 30 laps, they're going to be asking how long before we get tires, and they know that once they start seeing these guys hit pit road, they need to be in there very soon, so they can't afford to take that gamble. They are all going to have to get there. We may see some short pitting. They can go much longer on fuel than what they're going to go on tires.
All right, so let's get ready for the action tonight. Of course, we've got our in-race reporter, and we want to get to him right now because he has been very good here at Atlanta. He has managed to pick up 3 wins here. In fact, 2 in the last spring events in a row. Let's talk to Kurt Busch, DJ.
Hey, Kirk, Dale Jarrett, the ESPN. You have a copy?
10-4, DJ.
Hey, Kirk, thanks for talking with us tonight. And our first question comes from our ESPN mailbag, and Chuck from Bloomington, Indiana asked, how competitive is it between you and Kyle, and how often do you remind him that you have a championship and he doesn't?
It's pretty competitive. We both love to race each other hard and race each other smart as well at the same time. But he's had a lot of success, and yep, I do have that championship, so I always remind him. But, you know, in the end, we're brothers out there racing each other hard and having fun.
Kurt, we hear a lot of drivers talk about how much they enjoy racing here, and we know that you've won here 3 times, so you obviously enjoy it. But what is the most fun about racing at this track?
It's the old school game of tire management. I remember losing a race to you, DJ, up in Rockingham a few years back, on how I burned up my tires too early in the run. You got to have them all throughout the run, so you got to have tire management. You got to play the game all day long.
All right, Kirk, thanks for talking with us. Have a great night. Now, Andy's going to talk to your crew chief, Steve Addington.
Hey, Steve Addington, Andy Petrie, you have a copy?
Gotcha, Andy. Go ahead.
Hey, Steve, looking at the points here, you got a pretty good cushion on 13th, 253 points. You going to go for these wins, these last 2 races?
Andy, we come every weekend and try to win these races. It's tough. We want to be in that chase. We're not locked in yet. Feel like we got a good shot at it. We'll see how the Miller Lite Dodges starts out here. See if we can get it into the nighttime, and then we'll see if we're going to go for it or we're going to get a good solid run out of it.
Steve, what would be a good gamble tonight, strategy-wise?
Well, what you'll see is some guys that might not have the track position, maybe shortstop on the faster cars and try to make up time and hope that the laps, it'll be towards the end of the race, I feel, that somebody may try that and look at how many laps are left to the checkered flag before they do something like that. But short pit, try to make up some time and be in front of them when that checkered flag falls.
Okay, Steve, good luck tonight. Thanks for talking to us.
Appreciate it, Andy.
Well, this race tonight here at Atlanta, the 103rd Cup race at this storied track, one of 7 tracks that have now reached the century mark. And when we come back, we'll get it going green as the cars are just pulling off pit road on the pace laps. What a beautiful night on Labor Day weekend here at Atlanta Motor Speedway as we are getting ready for race action, the fireworks, the fans, and the cars on track. Let's set the onboards for you. We got a bunch. We got Jamie McMurray, winner last night in the Nationwide Series. We've already talked to our in-race reporter, Kurt Busch, pole sitter Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick, the points leader, Clint Bowyer, the man on the bubble right now, Jimmy Johnson, the 4-time defending champion, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. And, of course, the Chevy pace car is heading the group as we're getting ready to go green. And there's the view that they have. And let's talk a little bit about Denny Hamlin. It's his 8th career pole. He's won twice from that position. And it is Joe Gibbs Racing 50th career Cup pole for that team. As you take a look at the starting grid coming across the top of your screen, remember this: 7 of the last 11 wins here at Atlanta have come from the first 2 rows. And you'll notice that row number 4 is Jimmy Johnson he'll be feeling some pressure. But let's check in quickly on pit road. Here's Mike Massaro.
And certainly one guy a lot of eyes will be on tonight will be Clint Bowyer. With just 2 regular season races to go, he sits directly on the bubble, 12th in the standings. Applying the pressure are 2 guys. Jamie McMurray, he's 100 points back. He's already had a memorable season, but trying to validate it with a chase berth of his own. Another guy, Mark Martin. He's 101 points back, looking for another championship opportunity. Both of these guys know what they need to do tonight. They need to cut deep into their deficit. Otherwise, there could be some bubble bursting here in Atlanta. Jamie Little.
Well, Mike, on the flip side, there's a few guys in the field that have very little pressure tonight. Why? Because they're essentially guaranteed a spot in the chase. So tonight, the goal is win. Remember, Denny Hamlin and Jimmy Johnson are tied with 5 wins apiece. If one of them wins tonight, he would be the #1 seed if the chase started tomorrow. Dr. Jerry Punch?
Well, Jimmy Johnson finds himself in uncharted territory. He sits way back in 9th in the point standings. And this week, his crew chief, Chad Canals, told the crew that, guys, we mathematically could still not make the chase. And what a wake-up call that would be. He firmly believes, though, Jimmy will be the man to beat tonight. Dave Burns.
Jerry, pit crew's again critical tonight. Even though there's lots of room to race here at Atlanta, there is room to lose during the pit stops, and you don't want to do that to your driver. There will be a lot of pit stops tonight. It's a long race. Crews have to stay focused. Marty?
All right, thank you, guys. The cars are in turn number 3. Our over-the-wall reporter, Brian Hootie Chase. He's the jack man on the number 56 tonight for Martin Truex Jr. Thanks, Brian. We'll be watching. You guys be safe down there. Let's quickly take a look at the track facts as we get ready to go green. We're going to go around this track 325 times. 45 miles an hour is pit road speed. And they're going to be needing tires before they need fuel in that pit window on these rough and tumbled 24-degree banks. Here comes the pace car pulling down off the track. The Emory Healthcare 500, race number 25 here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. As our pole sitter, Denny Hamlin, brings them down, is green. Everybody basically holding station side by side for the most part down into turn number 3.
Yeah, Ron Newman's trying to make that high side work to get a lead here. 5 bonus points means a lot to him in this race.
10th time Newman has started on the front row here at Atlanta. Remember, he has 7 poles, 6 of those in a row, and he's going to go for the lead. Who's going to lead it at the end of lap number 1?
It's like Denny Hamlin got the lead there on that first lap, but Ryan Newman not giving up.
Right behind him, you've got Kyle Busch, then Carl Edwards, Martin Truex Jr., Tony Stewart, Jimmy Johnson.
You see Newman still trying to fight back. Here comes Montoya on the high side.
And remember, Montoya's had a couple of third-place finishes here in the last couple of races at Atlanta. David Reagan trying to come up underneath the 42 now, and Montoya comes down.
It's one of David Reagan's in that UPS Ford, one of his best qualifying efforts. He's from nearby here. He would really like to have a good race tonight for UPS, who is based here in Atlanta.
Let's move a little bit further back in the field. And look at this, about 5-car jam. And there's a Mark Martin, of course, trying to keep his chase hopes alive. Jeff Burton going around him on the high side.
See Bobby Labonte leading that group right there in the 71 car. Won a lot of races here.
That is 22nd right now. And Labonte has the most wins of the active drivers in this race. 6 of them. In fact, he's come furthest back in this field to win the event.
See Dale Jr. there take the spot away from Jeff Burton. Moves right back to that middle groove right now.
Tony Stewart getting a little frisky here early, and here comes Jimmy Johnson along with Martin Truex right behind him right there.
Yeah, Tony Stewart really happy with his race car yesterday during practice. He feels like that he could be the man to beat when this thing gets to the nighttime especially.
That's the battle for 6, and I want to explain all the smoke you're seeing is the residual effects of the pyrotechnics that they had at the beginning of the pace laps, and not much breeze here right now, so that's what we're looking through. Let's check the battle for 3rd with Kyle Busch and Carl Edwards. Edwards on the high side, and it looks like the high line seems to be working for a lot of guys right now.
Well, I think we're going to see it work for sure during this time. The track is still reasonably hot. See Carl Edwards really working the wheel, trying to keep it off the wall. He's going to take that spot away from Kyle Busch right now. A lot of people pointed their finger at Carl Edwards as one of the drivers to be here tonight, too.
Yeah, I was down in the garage area talking to Steve Addington before the race and just kind of getting a feel for who they felt like they had to beat tonight. They said Denny Hamlin for sure, but watch this 99 car. He was stout, too.
And he starts to pull away from Kyle Busch. One of the points we should make, remember last night in the Nationwide race, whoa, as we got 2 cars going past Mark Martin like he's standing still, and here comes Regan Smith.
Yeah, that's what happens right there. Whenever you lose momentum a little bit, we've talked many times about keeping the momentum through the corners. Mark Martin got himself in a position of being right in the middle. You have to just get out of the throttle. Looks like these cars are running 15 miles an hour faster, and it's not too far from that.
That's back at 27th position. How about Casey Kane? He's done very well here in the past. He is running right now in 8th spot, getting around Juan Pablo Montoya.
We always expect to see Casey run well here. We expect him to be up on the high side before the night's over.
Move up a little further, and there you see the 18 and the 99 going after each other again as Kyle's coming back, trying to get underneath Carl.
Yeah, and they can look in their mirror and see the 4-time champ Jimmy Johnson coming at them too.
Yeah, Jimmy Johnson ran the fastest lap time of the field that last lap.
Carl is really having to work his car hard. He would prefer not to have to work that hard right now. These guys know that they're going to face a totally different racetrack later on. Whoa, you can see him really get loose as he tried to get down into turn 3.
And one of the points...
Man, look at that thing.
One of the points I was trying to make a little bit earlier when we saw Mark Martin sliding backward, as you see Kyle now take the position. The sun is setting. Remember, this race started 30 minutes later than last night's Nationwide race, so it hasn't been as blinding as these guys going down into turn number 1. Denny Hamlin right now, your race leader by a total of 1 second. And he's just crossed 600 laps led in 2010. Looking down here at Atlanta Motor Speedway from the Goodyear blimp. And go to Goodyear.com to show your thanks and help support our troops. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. Thank you guys for the great shots. As you can see, that's the gap between first and second. Denny Hamlin, Ryan Newman, he has cut it from 1 second down to 4/10.
Yeah, and you can see the 11 car of Denny Hamlin wiggle right there coming out of turn 4. It looks like about 10 or 12 laps on the bottom. That's where Hamlin is stuck to. Ryan Newman's cutting that lead down, and will take the lead here shortly.
Let's check in on Clint Bowyer, because right now he is running in the 10th position. And he's right in front of Juan Pablo Montoya, then Greg Biffle, Jeff Gordon behind them. And here comes that battle for the lead, and you're right, DJ, he is closing now.
Well, there are a couple of things. You can keep the momentum going, but if you run that high line, even though at first you may lose some time to the guy running faster on the bottom, you're not abusing your tires as much. So that's what helps out in this situation too.
Well, don't forget, Ryan Newman has nothing to lose here. He has to have a big night.
Look at that momentum.
Yeah, just try, as I said earlier, trying to get these 5 bonus points right here. That's huge to him, too. He would love to lead enough laps to get that other bonus of leading the most laps. That's all that they can do, is try to make the most of it tonight and hope that maybe Clint Bowyer has some problems.
Well, remember, he came in tonight 118 points out of that last spot. Let's move a little bit further back. You see Montoya, Jeff Gordon, Greg Biffle. Biffle, you tuned into NASCAR Now earlier today. He told everybody he's going to be running that high line early. And he said, we don't know if we can adjust. We're going to try, because we saw last night how good the low line was for the Nationwide race. On the right side, Tony Stewart, looked like maybe Jimmy Johnson sort of got out of it for a moment.
You know, we've kind of seen one thing here tonight. Jimmy charged up through there right at the beginning, but now starting to slide back some. So maybe he just was seeing how much he could get out of his car before that took place. But we've also seen them have some issues with their handling probably over the last 3 months.
Well, we've seen the speed slow down over 2 seconds a lap. Now, when that happens, it changes a lot of things. I mean, it changes the balance of the car. It'll change, you know, the way these cars handle. They're going to have to make adjustments to their car to try to keep up.
Look out, boy, hell, Jeff gave it a little bit of a sideways ride there. We're on lap 18 to back you up, Andy. The fastest lap time was turned in by Denny Hamlin at 29.8 seconds. We're now running 32.5-second laps.
So the whole game is try to keep your car from falling off speed-wise less than the other cars do. I mean, in a long run, you can just see somebody's just going to get hooked up, just like Ryan Newman. He kind of just paced himself early, and now his car is really hooked up, and he can drive away from some of these guys.
A.J. Allmendinger's hooked up well enough to get around the 24, Jeff Gordon. Dave?
And guys, you're talking about who can tune the best on their car through the night. The 24 car, Jeff Gordon, was kind of back and forth during practice after talking with Steve Letarte this morning. He said to me, we were loose one run, tight the next run. He said, but I'd much rather be that way than be all one way or the other all day long. He's pretty confident they can adjust throughout the night, but right now, Jeff having a little trouble handling that car.
We've seen him take several different approaches around this mile-and-a-half oval so far, but hasn't made the progress forward. Now, Mark Martin has been sliding back. He is in 27th position right now, and this is not good for him because, as you can see, it is the wrong direction. Jamie, what's going on?
Well, he's already dropped 10 positions since the start of the race. They've had issues this weekend already, saying the speed just has not been there. The balance has been good. The car drives well. You see him get loose right there. But the good news for this team, Alan Gustafson, his crew chief, told me we set this car up for the long run. So slowly, if this goes green for a while, watch the 5 car to start knocking him off.
Mark Martin making his 50th start tonight here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Now let's check in on Jamie McMurray, last night's winner. And of course, he also trying to make it into that last spot as he is going side by side with the 7 of Kevin Conway and quickly disposes of it. Jamie McMurray right now would be in 14th position, with Clint Bowyer having control right now of the 12th spot, who's right behind him. Ryan Newman now with the race lead as we've gotten around Denny Hamlin. This is what we told you he really needs to do for his chase hopes. He has cut it down right now to 62 points, and he basically has to win this race, finish first, second, garner as many points as he can heading in to Richmond. Welcome back to the Emory Healthcare 500, and make sure to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. And we also want to remind you here that Atlanta Motor Speedway, it's your car, it's your drive, and it's your chance to win. Enter for a chance to meet a Team Chevy driver and win your favorite Chevrolet at winyourchevy.com. Just a few moments ago during the break, another lead change. Our second, Denny Hamlin got around Ryan Newman. Here's how it happened.
You see, Hamlin's still stuck to the bottom of the racetrack. Newman's been pretty much married to that top. It's like his handling started going away. You can see Hamlin making some time up on him, but made a nice clean pass there on the bottom coming down the front straightaway.
And we'll go through cycles, you know, where your car will be good. You'll have a section of the run that you'll be good, other sections you won't. They've now slowed down 3 seconds from their fastest lap time of the race.
Yeah, and Newman's under attack for second spot. And remember, he's fighting for a chance to get into the chase. Kyle Busch right now is, of course, third in the points and basically secure, and got a little twitch there, which allows Newman to hold on to the spot. But so important for Ryan to stay up front. Of course, Denny Hamlin in front of both of these guys. He wants to get those bonus points for picking up his 6th win. That'd be 60 bonus points going into the
his teammate there, Kyle Busch, who just took over that second spot. He's looking for more bonus points, too, to close up on that. He would like to get within 10 of that. So you have all of these guys racing for different reasons here tonight and what they're trying to accomplish.
You see him going around the 87 of Joe Nemechek. Right now, Joe running in 39th position. We have a total of 36 cars on the lead lap. Everybody still out on the racetrack. All right, let's check in on Kurt Busch, our in-race reporter, because, you know, he's won here 3 different occasions, but right now he's mired in 28th position. What's going on, Jamie Little?
Well, he has already lost 16 positions. You can imagine he's not a happy camper. This was his radio transmission just a few moments ago.
Hide entry and everywhere. Yep. Looks like we have a whole different race car here. So you guys put the 77 set up under here or something. It's a joke. Inside.
And at the end of that, he said, we're like blow out the right front tight. And they were tight in practice. So Steve Addington, his crew chief, told me, we're loosening this up for the start of the race. It didn't help, Marty.
Yeah, Jamie, I talked to Addington before the race, his crew chief. He said they did loosen this car up. They had been tight, made some changes, he told me like 3 different changes they made to try to free it up.
It makes it difficult when these guys have to practice. Their practice session yesterday was in the middle of the day, and so a lot of times you'll have a loose race car then, you tighten it up too much, but they apparently were the other side and still just haven't gotten it freed up enough.
How about 9th, 10th, and 11th on your screen right now as Greg Biffle's on that high line, Clint Bowyer and A.J. Allmendinger down low.
Allmendinger's one that's really charging through here. Watching these lap times, he's running some really quick times.
Yeah,
Casey Kane, his teammate, is also.
Yeah, and Biffle's doing a nice job. He's just totally on that top side. I love the way that Biffle gets into the corner high, too, and can turn his car in the center and get a nice run off. Dave?
And, DJ, didn't it make you mad when you knew you had a great car and just blew a qualifying lap?
Oh, yeah. Did that a few times.
Well, he started 15th tonight. As we look at Paul Menard working underneath David Reagan on your left there. Biffle on the top right. He qualified 15th by just getting back to the gas a little early coming out of turn 2. It caused the car to push to the wall. He thought he might have had a pole run. Now he's earning all that back up into the top 10. And Biffle thinks he has a really great car for tonight.
Also, take a look at that 29 car on the left side of your screen, running in about 16th position right now. Our points leader, Kevin Harvick. Remember, he's pulling his usual tricks on us, you know, sort of lurking in the back. Didn't have a great qualifying effort. In fact, started the race 29th, but here he is up to 16th.
Yeah, when I was talking to Kevin yesterday, he was really happy with his car in race trim. He thought it might be a little bit too tight in the center for night. They were going to try to work on it there. He actually thought he was going to get a better qualifying effort than he did.
I tell you what, guys, Kevin Harvick, last night, he was one of the fastest cars in the nationwide race, and you got to believe that he's learned a lot about how this track is going to transition today, tonight, and what type of air pressure settings and things like that, and also chassis adjustments he's going to do. I would say, out of everybody out there, Kevin Harvick is the one with the most experience of what this racetrack's going to do, besides Jamie McMurray, who actually won the race last night. I think it was a big benefit understanding how big the track will change.
Yeah, even though the cars are a lot different, they're still run on the same tire on the same track, so you can learn things from that nationwide race that will carry over.
Battle for the 13th spot with Jeff Gordon under attack from Paul Menard. Menard down low, and here comes Kevin Harvick right behind.
Yeah, Jeff's trying to make that high line work, but you can see he's not right up against the wall like Biffle is all the way through. He's giving himself a little bit more room. That tells me his car's probably a little bit on the tight side and that he's having to give himself some more room until they can make some adjustments on this car.
Jeff Gordon coming back on the 29. Will he have enough to retake the spot? They're heading down the backstretch into 3.
Well, you see that battle right there. What I saw out of Kevin Harvick's car coming up off that corner on the bottom, how much power you have to be able to hold somebody off like that. That really shows up how good the engines are in these RCR cars.
So we've been lean, mean, and green here, completing 38 of the 325 laps in our event presented by Pennzoil tonight. Tony Stewart right now, he's running in 3rd place, just 4 seconds behind our race leader, Kyle Busch, and his Toyota teammate up front. We've completed 44 laps under green, and the crews are getting ready for the first of what could be 10 pit stops, and everybody's stretching, getting ready. Look at this. How about warming up with a tire? I'll warm up with a lot less weight than that. The pressure is about to be on because green flag pit stops in last night's nationwide race were crucial. And the guys are on the wall. And 4 cars, we can tell you, have already pulled behind the wall. Kevin Conway, Mike Bliss, Joe Nemechek, Michael McDowell. First taker on the pit road, Sam Hornish Jr. as he pulls down. He's already 1 lap down. We've got 31 cars right now on the lead lap. David?
Tight center, loose off for Sam. They had a really, really good car here in the spring, one of the best until they lost a cylinder midway through that race and had to settle for a disappointing finish. So far tonight, not too bad on the handling side for this Penske race car.
His best finish this year back at Pocono when he came home 11th. He's back out underway. Race leader still Denny Hamlin. Let's go down to Dr. Jerry Bunch.
Marcus Ambrose very, very loose in the corner. Car sliding sideways to the right rear, has absolutely no grip. They have already made a chassis adjustment. They will fill it up with Sunoco fuel. Air pressure change. He is away. Jamie.
And remember, we talked about Kurt Busch, how terribly tight he was. He even brushed the wall just a couple of laps ago. The call is a wedge adjustment. Air pressure in 4 tires for the Blue Deuce, Kurt Busch.
Saw him 2 turns on the wrench. Left side's going on. Kurt with 13.3 seconds.
Yeah, made a good stop. You'll see a lot of the cars that are about to go a lap down at the that'll try to get in here early before you see the leaders come. But here come some of the leaders.
Yeah, 3rd place, Tony Stewart's coming down pit road.
Casey Kane, Ryan Newman. As you also look at Reed Sorensen and his pit stop. Let's go to Dave Burns.
Marty Tony Stewart was running third. He'll get a track bar adjustment on that race car. Not bad, he said, but he wants to work on the exit of the corner. That was a little bit loose. He'll get the wrench twice, a wedge adjustment as well. Rick Pigeon, the catch can man, reaches over, puts that wrench through the window, and he is out of here.
13.4, another good stop. Greg Biffle stop.
See, Greg's car is handling pretty well. You don't see any chassis adjustments going on. Maybe an air pressure adjustment.
A lot of cars right now. Juan Pablo Montoya is in. There you see A.J. Allmendinger finishing his service. 48 is also in, Doc.
Jimmy Johnson started back in 7th, drove it to 4th, and the car got very, very tight, would not turn. They made a chassis adjustment both left and right rear, air pressure change. Great pit stop. Jimmy's away. Dave.
The 29 team of Kevin Harvick, as that's a close call on the right of your screen, looking for a small adjustment. He was plowing at the beginning, but just losing a little rear grip at the end of that run. So a slight adjustment for our points leader, Kevin Harvick, at this point. Lap 49, green flag pit stops, Mike.
And Kyle Busch taking his cues from his teammate Denny Hamlin. If he came, he was going to do the same thing. You saw he had to lock up the tires to head down pit road. Kyle very happy with his race car, a little bit tight to begin with, but it starts to free up. He's happy. A 4-tire change, Jamie.
And your leader, Denny Hamlin, said, wow, that was exciting getting off of the track surface. He says he's actually been loose. A lot of the cars staying there tight. They took air pressure out and made a track bar adjustment. You see him get second down to the 18. Jamie McMurray, meanwhile, is in. He's been riding around. The car has not been exactly what he's wanted. A chassis adjustment, 4 tires, fill it up with fuel for Jamie McMurray, who sits just outside the top 12 coming into this race.
Saw Jeff Gordon finishing up his work going out as well. 13.8 on the stop of McMurray. And we're getting word that McMurray missed the commitment cone the first time.
That track is so slick and these tires are gone that these drivers are having a hard time getting down on pit road. You see coming off this banking right here, track's extremely slick.
Yeah, it's really hard. You're trying to carry as much speed. You realize you're going almost 200 miles an hour around this track and trying to do that.
Too fast entering for the 18 of Kyle Busch. He is going to have to do a pass-through.
I was going to comment on how much time he made up on Denny Hamlin. Apparently, he did it getting onto pit road.
Had to be one of those early segments because he had already pulled up to the back bumper of Denny Hamlin early on pit road. So for him to get one and Denny not to get one means it had to happen early on pit road.
So tough break for Kyle. He's going to have to come down and do the pass-through. He is shown as the race leader right now, but that's all for naught. Denny Hamlin, Tony Stewart, Martin Truex Jr.
They're going to put the black flag with a white cross the next time by if he doesn't come in. That means they quit scoring you.
Let's go back.
Yeah, right here. He makes up a lot, but you can see Denny's really on the brakes.
That first segment.
Kyle, yeah, that first segment, he didn't get slowed back down enough.
Well, he got the message because here he comes down through pit road, and we'll see where this brings him back out into the mix. Remember, he was shown as the race leader.
Trying to hang it out to see if I can get a caution.
He's just going to have to, take his medicine right here. Long race, got a great car.
Leader right now is in the middle of the backstretch. Total of 30 cars still on the lead lap.
Yeah, and he has a fast enough car. This isn't going to be devastating to his night because this is a racetrack. As we've seen with a good race car, you can pass a lot of cars. I'll just have to keep his wits about him, which he can do, and make the most of the night. He can still end up in victory lane very easy. Long race here tonight.
He comes back out now shown in 23rd position, 22 seconds behind race leader and teammate.
Well, you see Tony Stewart now the leader. He pitted just a lap before those two Busch brothers, and that's what got him this lead here.
So Tony Stewart becomes our 4th different leader with 4 lead changes here at the Emory 500 presented by Pennzoil.
The Atlanta Motor Speedway and the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series live on ESPN. Our coverage tonight presented by Pennzoil. You see we've completed 58. Squeezed by Tony Stewart and reassumed the command of this event that happening just a couple of laps ago. That at the end of a series of green flag pit stops where Kyle Busch actually came out as the race leader but ran afoul of the authorities. And now Kyle in the 18 finds himself back 22nd in line, 23 seconds behind the leader. Having flashbacks, as we watch the flashback, to similar circumstances in Bristol, Rusty.
Yeah, you see Kyle Busch right here trying to take advantage of Jamie McMurray. Beats him off the racetrack down down to pit road, and this was a key move for Kyle Busch to win this race at Bristol. But here, a little while ago, it looks like he might have tried the same thing as he was coming off the racetrack. Here, Denny Hamlin's getting ready to come off the track now in pit. Kyle is wide open on the throttle, tries the same thing he did at Bristol, tries to go around outside, gets in too fast, and he gets up pit road, speeding medley.
You see how hard Denny got on the brakes there, so you're absolutely right. And Kyle, it shows you how much he's thinking in that race car. He's always trying to take advantage of every opportunity. Got busted on that one, but I'll tell you what, he will get back in this race. Got too good of a race car.
Would not be the first time this season someone has gotten a speeding penalty on pit road and come back to win the race if Kyle were to come back and win that tonight. So we'll keep an eye on his progress back up through the field. Good race here for third and fourth position as we go back upstairs. Casey Kane running that little sprint car lineup by the wall there, Marty, DJ, and Andy.
Yeah, and Martin Truex, who has been very steady all night. And in fact, this is the highest he has gotten up to third.
They did a good job on pit road. His crew did, and he was running 6th. Got him back out in third after the penalty for Kyle Busch. Right now, he's going to have to give this spot to Casey Kane, though. Casey's on the move.
Yeah, you can see just how that momentum works right there. You can keep the RPMs up a little bit. Casey will get out of the throttle a little early, getting into the corner, but he picks it back up and really makes the straightaway longer by doing this. He can get back to the throttle so much sooner.
Let's check back in on the race lead because we've had 4 lead changes now between 3 drivers. Tony Stewart is behind right now Denny Hamlin. You can see by how much. 0.2 of a second looks from the rear bumper.
Yeah, Tony's been running that high line. He's getting ready to take the lead right here.
You know, this is the same thing we saw the first run. Denny kind of struck out there pretty fast. Ryan Newman couldn't get by him, and then about this time, Ryan Newman got by him, and then looked like Denny Hamlin's car came back around later, and he got the lead back.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the left side of your screen as well, as he is shown in 18th position. Marcus Ambrose right now gives up the spot. He is now bumped back to 18th. Junior now 17th. Jeff Gordon right in front of him. How about if we move back to Ryan Newman and his quest to keep his hopes alive to get into the chase. He's taking a run on the 99 of Carl Edwards. What's the latest you're hearing, Doc?
Well, you know, we saw Carl sideways at the beginning of the night. The car started out a little bit snug, but suddenly about lap 5 or 6 got very, very loose and just trying to hang on. When he made that pit stop on lap 47, the right front tire had some areas where it was almost down to the cords, about a ½ inch around the outside rim of the right front tire. Very much like what we saw last night with his Nationwide car. They don't seem to be very concerned, but they were glad they cut that one off on lap 47.
Well, they came back to finish third in last night's Nationwide race. They'll get it figured out. You can see he's opened up a bit of a gap now over Ryan Newman. Newman now in the 6th position. Here are the points right as they stand at the moment. Bowyer still safely ensconced at 90 and 98. And Mark Martin, unfortunately, looking like he's going in the wrong direction.
Yeah, Clint Bowyer here doing a nice job. He's up in the 12th spot. And this is really exactly what he needs to do, especially at this part of the race. He needs to just make sure everything is good with his car, work on it a good bit, and keep himself kind of in that safe zone. He doesn't want to race anybody too hard right now. Make sure he doesn't get in any trouble.
Well, he's had 4th place finishes in 3 of the last 6 Cup races. That's one reason he's in the 12th. From Jimmy's car, you can see what it looks like as he has got a safe distance between he and Ryan Newman.
Once again, have to keep an eye on this 48 car and see as they make adjustments throughout the night. That's the one thing that seemed to get them in some trouble, Andy, that we've seen this year, where they used to be the best on pit road at making their car better on pit road, and then this year they haven't been able to do that.
One car that's going in the wrong direction is Jeff Burton. As there you can see side by side with Mark Martin. This is for 24th position on the track. Not the position we'd expect to see either one of these guys.
No, neither one of them. I mean, Mark Martin's always been good here. 31 car's been good all year long. Just having an off night so far.
Spotters tell us that Burton got awfully loose just a couple of corners ago, and that's what allowed Mark Martin to close the gap. There you see Elliott Sadler also in the mix. And those guys are the last group. There's only 27 cars. on the lead lap. Kurt Busch has been put a lap down.
Yeah, we're hearing Kyle Busch has a vibration going to be coming down pit road. I wonder, we saw just the last part of his pit stop, and it looked like that they may not have gotten those left side tires tight.
Here we are, boys.
Mike, what do you get?
Well, a lap ago, Kyle Busch came over the radio and said, I've got a vibration. Get ready. The team leaped to the top of the wall, and they prepared to pit this car. 1 lap later, he made the call to come down pit road. He does believe he has a loose wheel. They're going to make a 4-tire change to make sure that they get everything corrected. Also, a slight chassis adjustment. The car's been just a little bit too snug for his liking. They swing around now to the left side, completing that stop there, trying to erase all doubt of a loose wheel. Kyle Busch now away.
And he is shown right now still with the challenge of getting back up to speed, 1 lap down. And the question is, will he be able to keep it from going 2 laps down? While he's pulling out, let's check in with Tim Brewer in the Craftsman Tech Garage.
Thanks, Marty. If you look in this area right here, you see the wheel. It'll rock back and forth when it's left loose. What it's going to do, it's going to oblong these holes right here. And this lug nut has to seat against that wheel to keep it tight. But when that thing starts rocking, at the speeds these guys are running, it's quite a vibration.
Yeah, that's how they'll find which wheel it was loose. They'll go back and look at the back side of the wheel, and they'll see the oblong holes, and they'll know which one was loose.
And as a driver, you don't want to be out there very long with something like that.
Kyle is back up to speed, 36th position, 1 lap down. Some other cars that came back out, Mike Bliss, J.J. Yaley, Michael McDowell, Kevin Conway, Joe Nemechek, the only one off track. There you see Tony Stewart. He's our race leader at the Sprint Cup race in Atlanta and is presented by Pennzoil.
An absolutely beautiful night in Atlanta and a beautiful sight. The Atlanta Motor Speedway lit up for Labor Day weekend racing, the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, about a quarter distance into tonight's 500-miler. Sprint brings you an inside look at the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup on the Now Network. Clint Bowyer kind of doing what he needs to do for the moment to try and help himself lock in the final place in the chase for the Sprint Cup. Bowyer soldiering along in 13th position, while the guys who are trying to displace him, Casey Kane, is running 3rd and has moved up to 13th in the championship standings, with Ryan Newman running a little bit farther behind in points and a little bit farther behind on the racetrack. Top speed on the night so far. Greg Biffle said he had a good car for this race, and he's posted the top number for this race at 191 plus miles an hour. For more NASCAR stats, in-car audio, and live race radio, check out NASCAR Sprint Cup mobile at sprint.com/speed. 3 drivers have done all the leading through the first now 80 laps completed tonight. Tony Stewart, Denny Hamlin, and Ryan Newman. It is Stewart who is out in front, passing Denny Hamlin just a moment ago. Biggest mover so far early in the race, Kevin Harvick, the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series championship leader.
Yeah, it really does surprise me at all that Kevin's flying through the field, up 19 positions right now. Just had a poor qualifying run, started way in the back, but he did run really good in that nationwide race last night, learned a lot. I think it's really helped him for tonight. He's all the way up to the 10th position right now. Good job out of Harvick.
And biggest surprise, guy that's won 2 of the last 3 here at Atlanta, Kurt Busch.
Yeah, and he's got 3 total wins here as far as wins in his career. He's been really great at the mile-and-a-half tracks. Both his wins this season have been on mile-and-a-half tracks. He is struggling mightily. Mired back in the 27th position. Cannot get that car to go forward. Seems like he's really, really tight everywhere. Not very happy right now is Kurt Busch.
Caution free to this point as we head back upstairs to Marty Reed, Dale Jarrett, and Andy Petrie.
And Jimmy Johnson currently running in 5th place, right close to Martin Truex, who's had a very solid run here for the first 81 laps.
Yeah, Truex car looks very solid. You can see running the bottom part of the racetrack most of the time.
Let's reset the field for you. It's Stewart up front, Denny Hamlin, Carl Edwards, Casey Kane, Martin Truex, Jimmy Johnson, Greg Biffle, Menard in 8th, Harvick 9th, and A.J. Allmendinger in 10th. So A.J.'s got a good run going. Let's check in on Jamie McMurray as he's a little bit further back, 17th right now. And, of course, he's got to do a lot better than that if he wants to keep his chase hopes alive.
It's been caution-free so far. I bet a lot of teams would love to see a caution to adjust on some of these cars.
Yeah, they want to see one. They just don't want to be at this problem. So
they're fighting like crazy not to be the initiator of a caution. See how many cars. I mean, you can see the inside how much they're sawing the steering wheel. Jimmy having a good night, though, so far. His car looks pretty good.
Doc, you've got more?
Well, Jimmy's still complaining that the car is just really, really tight from the center of the corner off. And Chad Canal said, you know, buddy, just hang on. We'll try to make some more adjustments. We need help getting off the corner. And on the screen, the 14 car and former teammates here, the 11 car, Denny Hamlin, as the pass is made.
Tony Stewart with Denny Hamlin. Hamlin, the only driver in the top 5 right now with a win here in 2010. And guess who is getting ready to get lapped? You see that cat number 31?
Yeah, he's the next victim of Tony Stewart or Denny Hamlin, whoever gets to him first.
And that is 24th position right now.
And we see Hamlin, as Andy pointed out, kind of do the same thing. His car's really fast on new tires, and he strikes out there for a few laps. Then it's like he kind of eases off, saves his tires some. Doing a really nice job. Now he's running Tony Stewart back down.
On board right there with Denny for a few moments. Going back down on the low side. And Burton right now praying for a caution to keep him on the lead lap.
Yeah, you can see he's just driving the wheels literally off of it right there, just trying to do whatever he can to stay in front of Tony Stewart.
Meanwhile, this battle for 5th continues to heat up. And
look how they're sawing the steering wheel racing each other. This is incredible racing.
Yeah, and at this racetrack, there's not much grip there. Anyways, you see Denny Hamlin going back by on the inside. Tony's going to give him that spot for right now.
That's the give and take you see early in the race. I mean, Tony Stewart just backed off the gas, knew that Denny needed a little extra room.
Well, Sam Hornish was the first to pit on the first cycle of pit stops. He is already coming back down pit road here again on lap number 87. And Sam is already 1 lap down, probably going to go 2 down right now in 34th when he came off the track.
When you start that early cycle, you kind of have to continue with it, don't you, Andy?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. You know, you do that first short pit and you hope that you get a few laps and then maybe get a caution. That's not happening. What it does, it kind of puts you in a cycle of having to do it again. And if you keep doing that all night, you'll end up making at least 1 or 2 more extra pit stops, which obviously won't work out for you.
While Sam finishes up, the battle for the race lead gets a little closer again. But look at the traffic now coming up to face both Denny Hamlin and Tony Stewart.
Yeah, and right in front of there, Jeff Burton would love to clear these couple of cars, get a few more lap cars in between he and the leader. Get him a little clean air on the front of his car, too. Although as loose as he looks like he might need a car in front of him to take some of that off the nose.
Bobby Labonte right there in the 71. Here comes Hamlin around. Let's get in the 14 and Dave Burns.
Well, Marty, you guys are referring to the give and take, which I'm not sure how much of that is happening on the left of your screen there, but the give and take with Tony Stewart and Denny Hamlin. And Tony and crew chief Darian Grubb have had that kind of a calm demeanor about them tonight. Early on, it was Darian saying to Tony, just take your time and tell me what the car is doing. Tony saying, I'm on that plan. Then during the second run, it was Tony saying, I'm just letting the car come to me. Don't worry about my times. And Darian said, I'm on that plan. They've been very relaxed in the 14 group, just trying to see what the 14 has throughout the night.
Well, and as you finish up, Dave, Jimmy Johnson looked like for a moment he was going to finally take over that 5th spot, but Martin says, not yet.
Yeah, I can just tell you as a driver right now, you need all of that racetrack to try to make a pass. The tires are worn quite a bit. This racetrack has no grip. I think Jimmy might get him here by pinning him down on the bottom and going around him on the outside.
He's going to give it a try right here.
On the left side of your screen, Brad Keselowski is already a lap down. We'll keep the action on the right side going for you as well because Burton is trying so hard to stay on the lead lap.
But Tony Stewart got a huge run off of turn 2 right there. He took the lead back and is going to put Burton down.
Jimmy finally gets by Martin Truex.
He does clear Truex and opens up a little bit of ground.
Man, look at Burton get sideways.
Yeah, and there's Paul Menard now on the left side of your screen trying to track down the 56. And look at Kurt Busch as he's trying to get it woed down to come back onto pit road. Kurt, his last 6 races, 3 top 10s, but 3 that were worse than 25th. And this looks like another one of those nights right now, as this is probably the biggest surprise to all of us.
Yeah, he won the race here early in the year, and I just did not expect to see him run like this tonight.
Right side, the battle for the race lead continues. Jeff Burton right now would get the lucky dog. Jamie, let's send it your way.
And Kurt continues to be frustrated with the way this race car is handling. He says he is now loose on exit. Remember, he had been so tight at the start of the race. He told his crew chief, Steve Addington, I want 2 rounds of wedge. We're not adjusting right. Let's do it right this time. 4 tires, and they filled it up for Kurt Busch.
Well, Kurt last year was running 18th when he crashed, ended up 38th in this event 1 year ago. So the memories from March are better than the memories of last September.
Yeah, and you can see this battle for the lead right here is just shows you exactly what we talk about. Just a little bit of a slip. These guys are back and forth. We can tell you about 2 or 3 tenths of a second, but this is exactly what happens each and every lap. Doc?
Clint Bowyer saying the car is still very, very loose. He's just trying to be patient on the racetrack, and the car is getting freer and freer. 4 tires, major air pressure, and he's away.
Well, and to just let you know, as Clint comes back out onto the track, Mark Martin is the next guy to go a lap down. He is shown in 21st position. That is the last thing Mark needs. Look at the way these cars are twitching. 39 of Ryan Newman, we can tell you, has pulled onto pit road as well. Mike?
And speaking of twitching, that's the least of Ryan Newman's concerns on that last run. In the middle of it, he said he thought that something felt weird, that he may have a vibration. So this comes as a bit of a relief. He's able to change all 4 tires, make an air pressure adjustment, and make sure that they don't have any issues, hopefully on this run.
Right side of your screen as you finish up, Mike, Kevin Harvick. And here we go for the battle for the race lead again. We've had 8 lead changes so far. And Tony on the high side, and here comes Hamlin right back.
Well, this is just great racing, and we talk about this being a worn-out racetrack, but that's the kind of show that these guys can put on whenever you give them good cars and a track like this.
Jamie McMurray pulls off onto pit road, I should say, in 19th position right now. Denny's got a problem on the right side. He's got lap traffic. Let's send it to Jamie Little.
Jamie McMurray made his way down to pit road the first time around. He's saying he's loose on throttle, so a little chassis adjustment to try to help him out there, tighten him up a little bit. Remember, these cars tend to get looser as the night goes on, the opposite of what we normally see. 4 tires, looks like a clean pit stop. 15.2, a little bit long for Jamie McMurray.
Martin Truex, let's go over the wall. Brian Chase, and as he pulls back out.
Oh, when they start making these pit stops, I think you could probably put jersey barriers up there, and you wouldn't keep a lot of these drivers from coming in. They really want tires right now. These cars are sliding everywhere.
Sure do. We saw all that smoke back there at pit road. That was Matt Kenseth locking his up to come to pit road.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., we can tell you, has made a pit stop. 24 of Jeff Gordon is in. Here comes the 14. Gordon, as we mentioned, he is first on the road, and let's send it to Dave.
Boy, Jeff really wanted to pit. He said, come on, dude, to Steve Letarte. And Steve said, we're waiting for the leader. Well, the leader is finally going to come down pit road, but they're going to fix tight on landing for Jeff Gordon. So the guy battling for the lead, the 14 of Tony Stewart, is on pit road. He said, tight center, loose off, but you helped it a bunch. That was a wedge and track bar adjustment last time. Greg Biffle is also on pit road for a loose race car. Biffle's crew will go down on the track bar and give him an air pressure adjustment. That's the 16 of Biffle. Had to angle in, but so far legal in his pit stall. Look at that right front brake rotor. It's on fire, and Hamlin's on pit road.
Carl Edwards coming in again. The car very, very loose. They're going to go down 1 round on the track bar, change air pressure in the right front. The car's getting better and better. The track's getting freer, but the adjustments are working for Carl. Jamie.
And Denny Hamlin wants it to loosen up just a bit. They're going to make a wedge adjustment on the car that has dominated so far tonight. 4 tires filling up with fuel for the #1 pit box. He's down and away. 13.5. Great stop for Denny Hamlin.
He's led 59 of the 98 laps that we've run. Kevin Harvick also made his stop. Jimmy Johnson finished up their work, coming back out from on board with Kevin.
Kevin's made a great run tonight. As you can see back here, Tony Stewart back out front again after the pit stop.
Still got a few cars that are going to have to make stops. The 21 comes in of Bill Elliott. And Bill gets his work done. His son Chase Elliott won his first Pro All-Star Series race at North Wilkesboro last night. He wanted to make sure we said that because he's a proud papa.
He should be. That boy can drive.
All right, on the right side, they're out of sequence, of course, Kyle Busch, as he is trying so desperately to get back into position here. But he's shown in 3rd place right now. But remember, he is going to have to make a stop. He is going to need a caution pretty soon, because that would then keep him on the lead lap here at our Sprint Cup race in Atlanta, presented by Pennzoil, as we approach the 100 lap mark. Well, we just finished our second round of green flag pit stops in time for the AT&T Fastest Pit Crew of the Year award. Jeff Gordon's team's currently in the lead, but you help determine the standings. Vote from your AT&T phone by texting the car number to 2258 for the pit crew you think's the fastest and the most valuable.
It's kind of hard to pick the fastest pit crew this last time. We'll go ahead and give it to Hendrick. They got 13.3 in the top 3 spots. You see Martin Truex's team there just a tenth of a second off, and so is Denny Hamlin. That's some competitive pit stops on pit road right there.
David Rudiman was called in by NASCAR officials because the team requested it because they can't communicate with him, and it has really cost him. Look at the steering wheel off.
Yeah, they changed steering wheels probably because they had a mic button or some kind of wiring issue with it. Hard to do that under green, though, man.
And there you see Kyle Busch. We can tell you during the commercial break he did pit. So again, he is a lap down, shown in 28th position. So the caution he needed did not happen. If you're wondering, as we complete lap number 107, working lap 108, this is the longest green flag stretch to start an Atlanta race since March of 04, when the first 126 were green. And if you want to know the all-time mark, 309 back in March of 1990.
Wow. Man, a lot of green flag racing.
A lot of green flag racing. A lot of pressure on pit crews, too. Let's set it all for you because you got Tony Stewart up front by 0.6 of a second over Denny Hamlin. Third place is Carl Edwards. Martin Truex Jr. is fourth. Casey Kane fifth. And then Jimmy Johnson rounds out the 6th position. And Paul Menard is now running in the 7th spot and doing a very nice job tonight.
I don't know what it is about this track, but it really does suit Paul Menard's style. He's had some great finishes here, and looks like he's going for one tonight.
He got his first Cup Top 10 finish here back in March of 06. He finished 7th. And, of course, he finished 5th back here in March earlier this year.
Yeah, and all the Richard Petty Motorsports cars are running pretty well tonight. Elliott Sadler's 22nd. He's right now the last car on the lead lap. But Paul Menard having a fantastic run so far.
You got a good look there at Kurt Busch just all over the place coming off the corner.
Yeah, he's a lap down in 24th position. The problems continue. Let's go back up front because you've got Casey Kane and Jimmy Johnson. This is our closest battle on the track, especially in the top 5. These guys going after each other. Kane has earned more points this year on the 1.5-mile tracks than any other driver. And right now, he would be shown in 13th place in the points. And let's check in with the race lead right now with Tony Stewart leading by 0.5 second, Dave Burns.
And Marty, you know how much technology is involved these days in NASCAR racing. Well, what about going old school? Watch this last pit stop that Tony Stewart's crew did. The guy in the foreground, that's his dad Nelson waving a flashlight. Right here, son. Pit right here. And you want to hear what Tony had to say about it? Listen.
The lights on the lights you guys were holding on the pit box worked really good there. I can see those. Don't worry about putting them on the sign. Just put them right in my eyes. Okay, 10-4.
How about that? Putting the old man to work with just a flashlight, and Tony really appreciated it.
You going to get a paycheck?
I'm sure they learned that. Probably some dirt track around the country where you can't really see. They learned that trick. Worked pretty good tonight.
Dave Blaney in the 38 is lap traffic. You see Elliott Sadler also out there, and got a gaggle of cars right in front of the race leader. David Reagan gets loose there, and here we go again with Kane and Jimmy Johnson side by side. 3 wide as they go past Kevin Conway. Conway's in 42nd place, 40 laps behind. J.J. Yaley's pulled back behind the wall, so has Joe Nemechek. They're the only 2 off the track. May have an issue in the 20 car of Joey Logano. He's in 27th spot right now, a lap down.
I just heard him go by the front straightaway, definitely on 7 cylinders. Something's going wrong there.
So not a good night for Logano. You can see what it looks like from on board. Jeff Gordon on the high side of Clint Bowyer. That is for 12th position on the track.
Yeah, it looks like Jeff, they're making some progress with his race car here. It looks like they've made it a little bit better with these pit stops. I'm sure they would love to have a caution, be able to make maybe a bigger adjustment, not lose any time. But in 13.3 seconds, you don't have much time
Not
to do.
much, no.
Jeff stays on the highlight. There you see Ryan Newman also in this mix. He's 14th. Remember, he has got to get himself in the top 3 to have any kind of real mathematical shot going into Richmond to still be in the mix for that 12th and final spot as we head for the chase. We mentioned Paul Menard. There he is, closing down on Casey Kane. And these guys are 5 seconds behind race leader Tony Stewart.
Paul's trying to see if he can get that 98 car in front of Casey Kane, be the top Richard Petty Motorsports car here tonight. Just a nice solid run. You see coming into the picture right back there is our points leader, Kevin Harvick. He's worked his way up into the 8th spot now.
Yep, he's picked up 21 spots. He's been the biggest mover from the start of the race. All right, let's get an update on the 00 story on David Ruderman, Dr. Jerry Punch.
Well, they black flagged David because he could not hear his spotter. NASCAR says you got to have communications. He came in. Here's what happened. Here's David Ruderman's helmet and the radio connection. It normally would go to a cable running across the cockpit here. That's how it would be connected. But because David was flailing his arms inside the car driving the wheel, his arm caught the cable and it came loose. He didn't know he couldn't hear him. He was turning the car so violently in the corner, he actually snapped the radio unhooked from the attachment. They had to bring him on the pit road and hook it back up. How about that, guys?
Great description, Doc. And now David Ruderman can finally hear what's going on. And Beek will do the best he can. He's 2 laps down, though, in 35th position. Our race leader, Tony Stewart, by 1 second over Denny Hamlin. And remember, Tony has yet to win this year. There's our top 5, our Sprint Cup race, presented by Pennzoil. And here's the flashlight saying, Tony, here it is. And Dad says, hey, I did my job right.
Beautiful night for flying in the Goodyear blimp over the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Go to Goodyear.com and show your thanks and help support our troops. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. Giving us our look down on one of NASCAR's fastest tracks past the 1/3 point of tonight's race. Interesting to look down through the standings and see how many guys at the top of this field tonight who have yet to win in 2010 and could really use one. These are just the guys that are right now in top 12 positions in the points, Brad, that haven't won yet this year.
Absolutely, and the first guy, Clint Bowyer, we know he needs a win in order to solidify that 12th position. But go all the way to the bottom to Tony Stewart, the guy leading this race, currently 3rd in the points. He needs those bonus points as they get into the chase after next week to give himself a better chance at winning a 3rd Cup championship. He's running awful strong, Alan.
Bonus points, heck, he needs a trophy. That's what he needs tonight. Rusty, this race has been caution-free so far through a 1/3 of the distance. Put us inside the race car, those of us that have never been there. A fast racetrack like this where you're searching for grip and you're working behind the wheel and no cautions. What's it like?
It's tough on you. It really is. We just saw Tony Stewart go by getting all real loose there. And Denny Hamlin, he's been working hard. But this racetrack right now is bumpy. Man, look at those arms back and forth. These guys are really struggling with these cars. You got to remember, it's fast here at Atlanta. It's very, very bumpy. The cars are not driving just perfect. They're either pushing the front end or else they're loose. And you just got to adjust to it. I mean, you don't have the grip that you have at some other racetracks. But look at all that movement that Denny Hamlin's doing back and forth, and that's just what you got to do. It's not easy out there.
Harvick passed Truex to pick up the 5th position as the championship leader continues picking his way toward the front. So 200 laps to go. Yeah, we're a 1/3 of the distance in, but still plenty of time yet to go, and guys are working awfully hard out there, Marty, DJ, and Andy.
And all 43 cars, Alan, are back out on track. Bliss, McDowell, Yaley, Conway, Nemechek, they've all been behind the wall as we got a battle for the race lead again between the 11 of Hamlin and the 14 of Stewart.
Yeah, I was just noticing how Tony had pulled back away after he got clear of some traffic. I said, well, his car settled in pretty good, and here comes Denny.
It's that same thing we've been seeing with Denny's car.
Yeah, and we just saw the in-car camera, Denny Hamlin working the steering wheel, and he's leading the race. What are these other guys doing?
Really? I'm telling you, it's tough out there.
Well, you can see Joey Logano as he reported engine problems. Let's listen in on Joey's radio.
Into the straightaway, into the back straightaway. It cuts off and turns back on. Like it's electrical or something. Master switch on the batteries there. Try switching that. Yeah, that didn't do nothing. The master switch that's on the dash for the alternator, turn that off and just keep an eye on the volts for a lap or two and see if they start going down. I know you got a lot going on and you're doing the best you can, but we need to try to maintain minimum speed. We're good now. We just don't want to get any slower.
Yeah, you see what's going on right there on the straightaway. He's able to keep pace through the corners pretty well, but then he hits the straightaway, and it sounds to me like it's internal. It doesn't sound to me like it's electricals, and that's kind of bad news for the Logano team. But Tim Brewer, he can explain it just a little bit more in our Craftsman Tech Garage.
Andy, I'm with you. I think it's something with the engine, but a lot of the guys have issues because they try to run a 160 amp alternator, but they need a wire this size to replenish the charging system. A lot of the guys are very conscientious about weight, so they run this real small wire back there, and sometimes that small wire, when it's 220 degrees under the hood, you don't get enough amps back to the battery. But me, I'm like you, brother. I think it's right here. I think it's a valve.
Yeah, I do too, Tim. And, you know, they're hoping it's that electrical problem, but because that's something that you could actually fix. That internal issue, though, it's they're not going to be able to fix that.
Joey running right now 30th position, 2 laps down. And bad news for Mark Martin fans. He is about to go a lap down. He is in 17th position, doing all he can, but it doesn't seem to be enough, as here comes race leader Denny Hamlin and Tony Stewart close behind. This is the way the points shake out right now, and not good news for anybody other than Clint Bowyer.
Yeah, all these guys are kind of making it nice for Clint Bowyer, who's sitting there still running a nice night in 13th spot. But you see Mark Martin really has his hands full with that race car.
So now Mark Martin finds himself a lap down. The lead is a half second. And we also know about the 18 of Kurt Busch. He's off sequence because of the penalty, Andy.
Yeah, what they really need is a caution, just to kind of get caught back up and get tires and then start racing the guys that are a lap down and try to get that lucky dog spot. Other than that, what they can do is wait until these leaders make a pit stop. They'll have a window of maybe 7 to 10 laps that they can be on the lead lap and a caution come out. That'd be kind of unlikely, but they just need to kind of reset here and get a caution.
Well, Busch has finished in the top 10 in 2 of the 3 races that he had speeding penalties so far this year. Let's listen in on the radio.
This is fun driving through, everybody. Too bad I'm 2 laps down. You're only 1 lap down. You're going to win the damn race. So keep digging.
Yeah, that's a good coach on the box.
He is 1 lap down. He's 23rd position, but he's got about 7 or 8 guys in front of him before he would be in the lucky dog spot. And the caution is out. We have debris in turn 2 at lap number 133. Our first caution finally comes out, so we won't break that record of 309.
That was a big break.
Glad too.
That was a big break for Kyle and a lot of other guys that would like to adjust on their cars. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. stays on the lead lap.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. had just gone a lap down in 16th position, and Ryan Newman was next on the hit list. And that means that our Aaron's lucky dog will go to Dale Earnhardt Jr. He'll get back on the lead lap, giving us 16.
Yeah, and that was unfortunate for Mark Martin, though, who was hoping Junior could stay on the lead lap in case that caution would come out, but he's going to still be a lap down.
Well, it has been a very interesting race so far because we had 2 rounds of green flag pit stops. Those 2 up front, Denny Hamlin and Tony Stewart, have swept the lead between them 5 times tonight. We've had 3 different leaders with 12 total lead changes, and we've only run 133 of the laps. Denny's led 66 of them, Tony 57, Ryan Newman had the other 10.
Yeah, just like Andy was talking about, though, this is the break that Kyle Busch needed. They have a great pit crew. They can beat 3 or 4 off of pit road, then he can pass the others because he's much faster than these other guys that are a lap down right now. So he could get himself in a good spot.
Get himself into the lucky dog position is basically
absolutely
what you're saying.
Yes.
Guys on the wall.
Less than 132 laps before we had the next caution. But
all right, everybody peels off. Let's send it down to Dr. Jerry Punch.
All right, guys, triple split pits, 99, 14, and 11. Ford, Chevy, Toyota, Edwards, Stewart, and Hamlin. Carl Edwards, top of your screen. 2 rounds of bite going in. The car is still very, very loose. Air pressure adjustment, 4 tires, and they're filling up with Sunoco fuel. Dave.
Second place, Tony Stewart. Flashlights guiding him in. Track bar adjustment for a car that was freer in the center. Jamie.
And he was your leader, a little bit tight now. They're going to make a track bar adjustment down, a round of wedge, and air pressure adjustment in the right rear. A lot of changes, but they said they know there's more pit stops, so they're going to experiment with this. Watch the race off pit road. Denny Hamlin is down and away. He holds on to the number 1 spot. The 14 will take 2 slightly, guys.
Oh, it was oh so close. In fact, the first 4-hole station, look at Kevin Harvick has moved his way up to 4th. The big winner here is Greg Biffle, and the loser, surprisingly, Jimmy Johnson.
Let's
go back and take another look, and that's how close it was.
It's the advantage of having that first pit stall by virtue of winning the pole.
Well, Tony's crew, they thought they had it for a second, but not by just that much. Got time under this first caution to update you on the calendar. NASCAR Now tonight at 11:30 Eastern over on ESPN2. And then the NHRA Mac Tools U.S. Nationals. The finals presented by Lucas Oil. Tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern. We're going to pound the ground in Indianapolis. NASCAR Nationwide Series action. Next stop at Richmond Friday night, 7 Eastern on ESPN2. And then NASCAR Sprint Cup Series action at Richmond. Saturday, 7:30 Eastern on ABC. Countdown will kick it off at 7 p.m. on Saturday. All right, let's talk a little bit about pit crew action. Celebrations because Denny Hamlin's Carl Edwards' team happy. Denny, of course, got off first. Jamie's team was very happy. And when Tony Stewart's guys thought they had it, but they still had a great pit stop and came out right behind Denny Hamlin. Let's take a look at the one guy who lost 2 spots, Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, you look at Tony Stewart. That 12.6 was the fastest stop on pit road of the lead lap cars. You see Jimmy Johnson just a little bit off in every spot. On the right side, the Jackman just a little off coming around, and the left side's just a little bit off, but that's enough to cost you a couple spots.
All right. We told you about Kyle Busch needing the yellow. He came in with 6 cars in front of him. He now only has 3 of those cars in front of him that are a lap down. Mark Martin, Ambrose, and Jeff Burton, and he is shown now in 20th position. Our race leader is Denny Hamlin and Tony Stewart on the front row. And as we take a look now, we focus in on our Gillette Pro Glide profile, turn the skeptics into believers. The difference between 2009 and 2010 for 3 drivers.
Well, that's just huge gains these teams have made, and Kevin Harvick here once again tonight showing us those changes are helping him at every track they go to. He's up in the 4th spot here tonight.
2 wave arounds this time, J.J. Yeley and Joe Nemechek, and we have 2 cars off. Mike Bliss and Kevin Conway have pulled back behind the wall. Let's get a quick update on the 20. Dave?
Marty, they were on and off of pit road, had the hood up. I talked to car chief Jason Shapiro. He said it's definitely internal. They didn't replace spark plug wires. They had them in their hand. They didn't replace them. It's internal. They don't know exactly what it is, and probably terminal.
Well, Joe Gibbs Racing has not had a DNF this season due to an engine situation.
Say when they got to watch it though, Marty, is on these restarts. Seems like they'll do okay. You know, you lose a valve head or something or a valve spring, and it'll run okay till you have to slow down and do a restart. And after that, usually that thing will let go, so he has to be careful right here.
Well, it looks like he's given plenty of room underneath him as we get ready to go back to green flag racing. Hamlin chooses the low line. Green flag flies. We're back underway in Atlanta.
Comes Martin Truex to the inside with a nice restart. He's going all the way to the 2nd spot.
And look at Carl Edwards as he slid up as well.
In fact, he wants to go to first as Truex.
Jimmy Johnson side by side with the 14.
Comes Carl Edwards back to the inside of Martin Truex. Got a nice run off of 2 to try to take that 2nd spot back.
Cooler heads prevail for a moment down the backstretch. They were 3 wide. Now we're just down to side by side. It's Jimmy and Tony right there.
Now you see Carl Edwards and Martin Truex. They've been chasing these guys all night long. Now they got their shot. They're going to take it.
Tony's got some momentum now as he's coming past the 48, and it looks like he's going to go by the 56 of Truex.
Well, Truex was just set on go and made the gear shifts and had everything perfect to work his way up through there. But now Tony Stewart's coming back to show that he has one of the fastest, if not the fastest car.
Harvick's got his hands full right now with Casey.
Casey's car seems to be pretty good on the new tires, but he's fallen off a little bit more. Here goes Carl Edwards to the inside. Now look at Stewart.
This is going to be interesting. Tony's coming right by. Hamlin says, what went past me right there? Here comes Truex. He could put him back to 4th in less than 2 turns. And does.
Maybe 5th. Look at Jimmy Johnson.
Could something be wrong with Denny Hamlin's car?
I don't know, but you know, we haven't seen Carl Edwards lead a lot of laps this year. Been, I think, less than 10 actually up to this point. But this has always been his favorite racetrack. Got his first win here.
Got his first nationwide win, got his first Cup win all in the same weekend.
Well, he better enjoy it because here comes Tony Stewart.
Well, Carl got a nice run off of turn 2, though. Was able to hold Stewart off.
He's led a total of 6 laps this year, and Carl now has led 1 here. He's our 4th different leader. So you're right, it has not been the kind of season that Carl's been used to up front.
It hasn't been that, but they've still gotten themselves in a nice position points-wise to this point. They would love to have some bonus points by winning this race tonight.
Bonus points would help. In fact, he could even move as high as 3rd in the chase standings. Side by side, here comes Greg Biffle. Biffle felt that he had a car that could contend. He's fighting for 7th spot with Casey Kane. And now it looks like Biffle's got the setup change. Remember, he talked earlier in the evening about running the high side. He's trying to run down low.
Kind of forced down there right now. Casey Kane's not going to give up that top lane.
Here comes Juan Pablo Montoya.
Smoke.
Big smoke.
Oh, that's Denny Hamlin.
Denny Hamlin.
There was something going wrong with that 11 car.
Yeah, there
apparently.
definitely was.
And remember, we talked about Kyle Busch needing to pass 3 guys to get back in the lucky dog spot. He has.
Yeah, he got the lucky dog. But one thing I'm seeing here, Joe Gibbs Racing lost a cylinder with the 20 car. Now looks like he's lost the engine in this 11. So Kyle Busch can't be too confident at this point, even though he did get the lucky dog.
Well, I hate to tell you, Hamlin fans, he finished 15th or worse in 3 of the last 4 races after winning the pole. Now it's going to be 4 out of 5.
Yeah, and we talked about Denny Hamlin last year in the chase. Won races, did everything, but it was just these type of problems that kept him from giving Jimmy Johnson an even bigger run at trying to win that championship.
He was running 5th after leading a race-high 73 laps right now.
Yeah, you see, just lets go. You know, you might think that they would be experimenting, maybe trying some things in the engine to get ready for the chase. Nothing to lose here, but try to just get a win.
Well, they said in the pre-race, he said it all day long, we are considering this as the start of the chase for us.
Well, they hope it doesn't start out like this.
Well, the only bad thing is they're not going to lock themselves in that chase position tonight with this happening. So they're going to have to go to Richmond and make sure that they don't have another miscue.
It's definitely going to take a hit in the points, and it's going to put the pressure squarely on Richmond in 1 week. And we had just talked about the fact that Joe Gibbs Racing has had 0 engine failures this year.
I know they've been working hard. They felt like that maybe they were down a little bit horsepower-wise to some of these, the Chevrolets and even the new Ford engines. So, you know, they've been working hard, and it could be something like you're talking about that they could be trying to pick up just a little bit before they got to the chase.
Yeah, that's one thing. You know, the other guys will put pressure on you to keep making horsepower, keep making changes to your engine package to try to pick it up, and sometimes you can push it a little too far.
Well, race leader Carl Edwards says no, I'm not going to come down.
Yeah, it's not open yet because
yet.
that car sitting down there and the oil that Denny Hamlin's car put down, they'll try to get all that cleaned up first.
I did not see the light flashing until right at the very end. Good catch, DJ. So we'll go a lap around one more time. Our second caution flag. And as we mentioned, the Aaron's lucky dog is going to go to Kyle Busch. So Kyle back on the lead lap. Well, while we got a moment, let's talk a little bit football. Tomorrow night, we'll catch a season-defining game early. 2 top 10 teams. Kellen Moore leads the 3rd-ranked Broncos against Ryan Williams and the 10th-ranked Virginia Tech Hokies. It's the All-State Kickoff in the Capitol as part of Dick's Sporting Goods Kickoff Week on ESPN tomorrow at 8 Eastern. College football is available on TV, online, and on your phone. Go to ESPN.com for more information. Under caution here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, let's revisit the AT&T Fastest Pit Crew of the Year award. The fastest pit crew is determined by the winner of each race, the fastest pit times, and your vote. Be sure to text the car number to 2258 for your pit crew choice. Still cleaning up pit entrance, and we're getting words that they will open up pit road next time by, as they're on the backstretch right now. It's Edwards first with Tony Stewart, Martin Truex, Jimmy Johnson, and Kevin Harvick, your top 5 with Greg Biffle in 6th. We'll see what happens when they come out after this next round of pit stops.
I think Carl Edwards served notice right there that he's going to be somebody to contend with if you're going to try to win this race tonight.
Well, if you look at it, you've got a Ford first, a Chevy second, Toyota third, then 2 more Chevys, and then 2 more Fords in the top 7.
Yeah, with that long green flag run we had, it was hard to tell, you know, back through the pack who really had the best car. When they got all bunched up now, it's a little easier to tell. Carl Edwards' car does look good. Here they come.
All right, let's send it to Dr. Jerry Punch with Carl Edwards.
Oh, they just pitted 14 laps ago, but tires are just that important here. We're going to stack them 3 deep. Edwards, Truex, Stewart on pit road. Carl Edwards, they have finally gotten his car tight enough, maybe a little too tight, that they make an adjustment. They'll put 4 tires on. Mike.
Doc, prior to the last stop, Martin Truex was a little bit loose off. They made a wedge and air pressure adjustment. Since then, the car has been near perfect. This time around, no adjustments, just tires and fuel, Dave.
Bottom of your screen, second place, Tony Stewart. No panic, just tighten me up a little bit. Still free. Jamie?
And the 42, Juan Pablo Montoya, he has an opening in front of him because 11 of Denny Hamlin is out. Air pressure adjustment, 4 tires for the 42. They're happy. And there goes Tony Stewart. He regains the lead. Marty?
Stewart picks up the race off pit road with Edwards dropping a spot. Jeff Gordon picked up 2, as did Casey Kane picking up 1. Menard picks up 2. Newman picks up 4, coming off pit road 10th. So we'll continue this second caution here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and we'll get back to green flag racing quickly.
Labor Day weekend racing at the Atlanta Motor Speedway for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. A good race for the lead on the track for much of the race's opening third, but one of the drivers involved in that just went out with engine trouble, Denny Hamlin. Meanwhile, after a round of pit stops, it is Tony Stewart who will lead the field to the green flag for this restart with still 175 laps to go. Now, a couple of things have happened after the first round of pit stops. Those 2 Richard Childress racing cars have been back on the pit lane for subsequent service. Some repairs under the right rear for this 33 car of Clint Bowyer. And then Kevin Harvick, there's something missing on his tire.
Yeah, it looks like he had a broken valve stem. I don't know how that happened. Maybe an impact wrench hit it or something, but Kevin felt it right away, said something's wrong, I'm coming back in.
Tires are on backwards, Gil. They really feel like that? Way on backwards. No, we've got a valve stem laying here on the pits like it's snapped off. So we got to come back in.
Just talked to Gil Martin real quick on top of the pit box. Not sure exactly what happened. Sometimes an air wrench can hit the valve stem like that. Either way, they had to come back down pit road and change it out. It was the outside valve stem. That is for the outer tire, if you will, not the inner liner.
All right, David, thanks. Kyle Busch, the free pass. He is in 16th place. A whole pile of cars have gotten the wave around before the restart. We'll catch you up on those first. It's Edwards in the gray car and Stewart in the red car for the restart.
21 total wave rounds, and we won't be able to give you all by name. Just watch the top of your screen. You'll be able to see the margins and who got back on lead lap side by side as we go through turns 1 and 2.
Well, Carl Edwards couldn't have done a much better job on that restart. I mean, they were dead even at the line.
No, he was right with him. You'd see Martin Truex' car really dancing around on the bottom. Jimmy Johnson takes that 3rd spot away. Oh,
whoa, trouble. Contact. Looks like Biffle trying to hang on to it.
Keep spinning it.
Whoa.
Still coming at you.
No, and Sadler's into the wall.
Except one just tore your nose off. Wrecked pretty good, guys. We got front end damage. He'll try to drive it.
Newman got through. Kyle Busch got through. Sadler did not.
No, Sadler took a hard lick right there. That was a bad break for these 2 cars, but it was a really good break for a pile of cars that took the wave around. We'll get to come in now and make a stop.
Yeah, 16 caught Elliott Sadler just in the right rear quarters. He was sliding back down the track. I don't know if Biffle got hit going into turn 3.
Now he's got a fire.
They made a long pit stop before. I don't know if they were making an adjustment, but got him back in the pack.
Tough break for Biffle because he had a car that was running pretty consistently. They were working on it. Here, let's go take a look.
3 wide going into that corner. I don't think Biffle ever knew the 39 was there.
Watch the 18, 31. Jeff Burton just gets through.
See, Kevin Harvick, our points leader.
He got a little bit of that. Harvick did.
Harvick gets through. Everybody checks up behind. This could have been a lot worse than it was. Circled Kyle Busch.
Yeah, Greg Biffle just didn't know the 39 was there at all. He came down the racetrack.
Burton does a nice job, and that's where Sadler gets tagged.
Man, that's a pretty hard lick to hit on there in that safer barrier.
View from behind. Tough break for Greg Biffle because he had been doing so well lately on board with the 88.
Hey, you see how all this takes place. He's down on the bottom side.
Stay low. Come on low. Come on low. Come
Gas
on low.
it up and gets
All
through
clear.
there.
Good job. All clear.
And right along here with Kevin Harvick now. See just how close he came to get and be a part of this. Wow.
I'm not sure he didn't get any contact, but it was close.
Yeah. Another hard lick, as you said, for Elliott Sadler, unfortunately.
Okay, list 16 is back in the garage. Dave, what have you found out?
Marty, during that last round of pit stops, we called him the big loser because he lost time on pit road. Well, that was because the lug nut fell behind the wheel on the right front tire exchange. He was running in the 6th position. He restarted 11th and back in that group.
Well, he had top 8 finishes in his last 4 oval track races, including 3 top 4s. And this is going to be costly for him in the chase points. All right, take one more look at it. So this is far from over. We've completed 153 of 325. For most everybody, it's a beautiful evening here at the Sprint Cup race at Atlanta, presented by Pennzoil. But not for a few. One of them being Denny Hamlin, our pole sitter. He was leading the most laps and still has led the most laps of 74 until his engine let go. Jamie Little has caught up with him.
Well, and he was the hands-on favorite to win this race tonight. You just talked to anybody in the garage, Denny, and poof, you're back here in the garage. Any indication right before that happened?
Well, I saw the 20 was off the pace, and it looked like he had an engine problem. And usually where there's one, the 11 team will find the other. We seem to find all the bad luck in Joe Gibbs Racing, but you know, it's frustrating, and you know, it's a 50-50 day. You know, we look at it and we can look at the negative, and that's that we blew up and that reliability is still somewhat of an issue. But the positive is we brought our best car to the racetrack and pretended that this was a chase race and to see where we were going to stack up versus competition when we had to really go. And you know, I was just pacing myself out there, having fun and racing with Tony and those guys. So, you know, I'm going to leave with the 50% that I'm going to stay positive and hopefully know that you know, we've really got a strong race team, and if we can just keep it together, we can really win this championship legitimately. So we just got to keep it together and we'll be all right.
You were one of the few guys that came into this race tonight with not a lot of pressure. Like you said, you were pretending it was the chase. Now all of a sudden there's one race to go before the chase. What does that mean for Richmond looking forward?
Well, it's just I'm thankful that there's only one left, because you know, with the stuff that's going on and you know, us having trouble finishing races, at this point I'm just happy there's only one more race that we could possibly lose points. You know, I would hate to miss that cut simply because of this stuff happening. But you know, my team deserves better, and we're going to keep digging. And you know, we know with in 2 weeks, hopefully, when things reset, we're going to be on the positive side of things.
All right, well, Marty, if things shake down the way that things have been happening, he could still clinch tonight. Otherwise, he'll have to do it next week in Richmond.
Well, and you're right, Jamie, because the bad news for Greg Biffle in this most recent collision is good news for Denny Hamlin, because Biffle, you see what his car is looking like back in the garage area. And let's go back and take a look at this, because right now Hamlin is shown in 10th spot instead of 11th, because that's where Greg Biffle now finds himself after this.
Yeah, and this could have been a lot. We'll watch the 33 car of Clint Bowyer. He's not too far behind this. He's gotten slowed down. You can see him coming into the picture right now. He really did a good job of getting slowed down, making sure nobody was going to run over him from behind.
Let's watch from Clint's onboard.
3 wide. Rick in front of you. Come low. Come down. Hold your line. Hold your line. Hold your line. Stay up. Stay up. Stay up. Stay up. Hold your line. Go up. Go up. Go up. Stay up. Stay up. Come on. Come on. Come on. Stay in the gap. Come on. Come on. Good job. Good job.
And as we mentioned, the big loser in this one, Greg Biffle. Doc, what do you have?
Well, Greg sitting in the car back here, he told his spotter, by the way, on the way in that he did not know they were 3 wide over there in the turn when that happened, when he got the contact from behind. As you can see, there are 14 different people here, crew members, working on the front of this car, taking the radiator off, cutting the front horns off the front clip. They're going to put a whole new front section sheet metal on, put a new radiator in it, and they're trying to tape up some of the hoses and exchange some of the hoses. Biffle, 11th in the point standings, and they are scurrying all over this car. Jack Roush is back here. Doug Yates, the engine builder, is back here as they are trying to get, now they will have cut the front of the car away and will move that whole section out with the damaged radiator. As they will now pull the other section in, put the new radiator in, and try to get Greg back on the racetrack. 135-point buffer is what he had between himself and Clint Bowyer down in 12th position, but they have got to get him back on the track very quickly.
And you can see the guys that took the wave around, and now they're coming in for their pit stops, and there is Clint Bowyer.
Yeah, Mark Martin also, big break for him.
Yeah, and Boyer's probably coming in because he probably locked those, slid the tires a little bit and wanted to make sure they didn't have that. Busch also took the wave around last time. He's back on the lead lap now. They've been making some big adjustments on that 2 car.
Yeah, that strategy on the 21 that stayed out on the wave around paid some big dividends as Kurt Busch. They've been working on this car all night, and they finally find themselves, after 158 laps, back on the lead lap here at Atlanta.
NASCAR Sprint Cup Series at Atlanta is presented by Pennzoil and brought to you in part by Golden Corral. Help yourself to happiness. Toyota and Viagra.
Almost to halfway in tonight's NASCAR Sprint Cup Series race at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Our coverage presented by Pennzoil. Tony Stewart, Carl Edwards will be on the front row to lead for this restart. 23 cars on the lead lap after this extended cleanup from the big wreck in turn 4 that involved, among others, Elliott Sadler. Let's hear from him, Mike.
Elliott Sadler has certainly taken a couple of very hard hits over the last couple of months. Luckily, though, he just walked from the care center. You told me you feel okay. It wasn't that big a hit, but what happened?
I don't know, somebody spun out or whatever in front of us, and I saw the 16 spinning and kind of blocking the track, and me and Harvick tried to go under him, and I couldn't go any lower because of the 29 car, and I think the 16 was standing in the gas, trying to stay at the wall. Just came down, clipped us in our right rear, turned us head on into the wall. So our Stanley Ford is damaged and done for the night. So very frustrating. We had a really good car, and guys kind of start short pinning on us, put us behind, and we were trying to play catch up, but really wanted to finish this race. We felt like we had a good shot at a good finish tonight.
Good news, guys, though, is he's able to walk out of the care center unhurt.
Thank you, Mike. 23 cars on the lead lap after Jeff Burton gets the lucky dog. It's Tony Stewart, the leader, Carl Edwards, Jimmy Johnson, Martin Truex, Jeff Gordon. That's your top 5. Green flag flies. We're racing again in Atlanta.
Jimmy Johnson to the inside.
Going to go 3 wide for a moment. Jimmy just fires past and jumps out to the front for the first time tonight. Carl Edwards on the high side.
Sometimes a leader will spin his tires. You see Kyle Busch here trying to make up some spots already on the outside of Jeff Gordon. But if a guy can get a really good start and not spin your tires at all, that's like what Jimmy Johnson did to lead his first laps of the night.
Kyle Busch has already moved up to the 6th position, guys, after getting back on the lead lap. Right now, it is Johnson, Stewart, Edwards, your top 3, and then Truex, Kane, Kyle Busch, Jeff Gordon. That's your top 7. Ganassi teammates going side by side. Montoya down low, McMurray up high. With all this action, Jamie McMurray right now puts himself back into the 13th spot in the chase for that last spot.
So he knows he just has to try to work his way up into a top 5 finish, and hopefully the 33 may finish somewhere outside of the top 20, cut that deficit about in half, and then go to Richmond and see what may happen.
McMurray 8th right now, Clint Bowyer running 13th. Mark Martin, we can tell you, also back on the lead lap in 18th position. And all of a sudden, the 48 has come to life, as they now become our 5th different leader, 15 lead changes, and opens up a half a second lead over Tony Stewart.
This track has changed a lot. It's gotten a lot cooler. put a lot of laps on it, put a lot of rubber down. So, you know, a lot of cars are kind of coming to the surface that we haven't seen. Jimmy Johnson's one of them.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. also got back on the lead lap, and here he goes taking a peek underneath the 42.
Yeah, making some good runs off the corners. He's made these last couple of passes.
This is for 9th on the track.
Got a little bit loose right there. Not going to be able to complete that pass in that corner.
Right behind him is Paul Menard. Jeff Gordon goes back underneath the 18 of Kyle Busch, so move Jeff into the 6th position.
Really been impressed with what Jeff Gordon and his team work on this car tonight, get themselves back into position.
Junior going for another run at the 42.
He's trying to make that work. He just can't quite get enough momentum off the corner past Montoya in that corner. Montoya takes it inside back here going into turn 3.
Sort of calms down right now. Whoa, Montoya steps it out just a little bit. And that gives Junior a little bit of momentum. Casey Kane right now running in 5th. There's Jeff Gordon, also the 18 of Kyle Busch, and McMurray closing. And look at the run by Gordon. He's going to go underneath Kane and say bye-bye.
Yeah, we saw Jeff working on that high line earlier in the race, but he's got his car much better now.
But it looks like some of these cars, I think Jeff Gordon's one of them, running the bottom in 3 and 4 and running the top in 1 and 2. That seems to be right now, at least with the tires in pretty good shape right now, a pretty good way to run.
Kyle and Kane side by side. And Kyle's got to be thinking, well, let's see, the 20's had an engine problem. The 11's blown up. What's mine going to do?
Well, all you can do is go drive it, try to take care of it, obviously, as much as possible, but you really can't worry too much about that as he does complete that pass on Casey Kane.
Well, and the word from Dave Burns was that it's 2 different types of problems.
Yeah, the fastest car on the racetrack right now is this 14 car. He's chasing down Jimmy Johnson.
Tony Stewart closes in on Jimmy Johnson.
Well, Tony's car really has been fast tonight.
You see Tony's able to cut his car down.
You see that right front wheel going back and forth?
That's hitting that seam right there. When you hit that seam, it really takes any grip you have away as he's able to go on and make the pass. That's just Tony Stewart wheeling this race car.
Tony's going to give us our 16th lead change now between the 5 guys that have been running up front. And Stewart is within 3 laps of taking over the lap leadership here in our event presented by Pennzoil. Past halfway, you're looking from high above, and we want to make sure you go to Goodyear.com to check out Goodyear Support Our Troops program. There you can send a thank you message from a NASCAR driver and enter for a chance to win a 2011 Ford Taurus and other great prizes. The gap is just under a second between Tony Stewart, our race leader, and Jimmy Johnson, who is in 2nd place. And Tony, of course, 2 wins here back in March of '02 and October of '06. And there is the top 5 in our Sprint Cup race presented by Pennzoil after 176 laps. And remember, Kevin Harvick had the valve stem issue, and he has brought it back to 9th position. In fact, let's go up to speed and start it right there with Dave Burns.
Marty, that's 4 positions. As he grabs that yellow line, wiggles a little bit, 4 positions up since the restart, and he's going to get another one here right now from Juan Pablo Montoya. But this is the same race car that they drove in Michigan to the win from the 8th place starting spot. They tried the same setup there, but this place is so bumpy, it didn't really work. So they worked back from that and have been very happy with the car all weekend long. Jamie?
And the 42 of Juan Pablo Montoya, they just told him on the radio, you are the 3rd fastest car out there. Great job. Keep it going. I know he's not running up there in the top 5 yet, but they have a great car on the last round of pit stops. All they made was an air pressure adjustment, saying it's just a little bit tight. The car is getting better. Mike?
Jamie, coming into the night, Casey Kane's crew chief, Kenny Francis, told me one of their biggest concerns were, as the speeds picked up, as the sun went down, were that the splitter would hit the racetrack, but there's a bigger problem than that for the 1 car, as he gets loose headed to pit road, guys.
Jamie McMurray's got his hands full just trying to get to pit road, and his hopes of maybe making the chase.
Man, it was a big-time problem right there, and a bunch of cars had to avoid him. It's like it might be a left rear. I don't look like the right rear's up.
Yeah.
Well, he heads down and heading your way, Jamie Little.
Such a disappointment. The last round of stops, finally the car was good enough just to take tires. They didn't need any adjustments. This is not what they need. Of course, there is still a lot of racing left to do, but remember, he sat outside the bubble coming into this race. 4 tires, just to be careful. I know he said right rear, guys, but could have been the left sides as well. So they're doing the smart thing. They took 4, and Jamie McMurray is down.
And McMurray is going to go a lap down as he pulls back out onto the racetrack.
Key thing is he didn't wreck it. I mean, he came really close to wrecking that car.
He came close to wrecking that, and Kevin Harvick almost wrecked running into him.
And look what this could do to him in the points. If he can't recover from this, 15th isn't going to cut it. Mark Martin would still be 104 back. Bowyer is still breathing a lot easier than the rest of them below him. This battle on the racetrack, though, really heating up as you've got Harvick chasing down the 18 of Kyle Busch and Casey running the high line.
You can see Harvick right on the bumper. Kyle Busch.
That's McMurray's tire on the right side of your screen. And thank goodness for the inner liner.
Yeah, definitely thank goodness for that. Goodyear came up with that innovation a lot of years ago, and this saved a lot of race cars and drivers from hitting the wall hard. You can see Kyle Busch really struggling with his car right now.
He almost hit the wall there.
You know, Jamie McMurray and Kyle Busch have been racing really hard for position earlier, and I just wonder maybe if there wasn't maybe some slight contact that may have cut that left rear down.
All right, let's look at the battle for 4th right now. Jeff has been getting great runs off of 2, but this time Truex is able to hold him off as they are duking it out for that 4th spot.
Yeah, you can see a little different style there. You can see Jeff was up pretty close. He got out of the throttle a little bit earlier, now trying to pick it up sooner, get that nice run off the corner, see if he can get that momentum down and get that outside position going into the corner. Should take him about a lap to make that pass. Dave?
And DJ, I got to tell you, you said they were working on this car a lot. Boy, have they been. But it's been real hot and cold as he's going to use the high line to get around Martin Truex right there. Just about 5 laps ago, he said, what I had is gone. It went straight to tight from being very good in picking up positions. So throughout the night, they've kind of gone back and forth, trying to not kill the drive off, as Jeff would say, and keep the tightness out of the car. And it's been a real struggle.
All right, let's get an update on Jamie McMurray's situation. He's 1 lap down in 26. Jamie?
Well, Marty, remember the driver said it's a right rear. And Andy said, well, it could be the left. You were right, Andy. It was the left rear. Good thing they made the call to take 4 tires and not just right side. See this cut right here? Goodyear guys are down here. They circled it. That was a big cut, guys, maybe from the debris from the last crash. Marty?
Tough break for Jamie as you see where he started in this race and where he is right now. And again, he is a lap down and not in the lucky dog position. He's got Mir, Sorensen, and Rudeman in front of him to get to that spot. All right, let's get an update on Greg Biffle because his car has been worked on back in the garage area. Mike, I'm sorry.
And Marty, as you can see, the work continues on the 16 car. There's about a dozen crew members going to work. They've already replaced the nose of that car. They still need to replace the radiator. Some welding going on in there as well. Many broken suspension parts, but this team's still very hopeful about getting the 16 car back on the racetrack tonight.
And on the left side of your screen, as you finish up, you see Kevin Harvick, Juan Pablo Montoya. That is a battle for 6th position on the racetrack. Tony Stewart will let you know is leading by 2 seconds right now. Here comes Kyle Busch. And we can tell you that it looks like Kyle is definitely going to clinch a spot in the chase. Remember, he came in 3rd position. It will be his 4th chase appearance. Well, here's the guys that are fighting it out for that last spot right now. Clint Bowyer has it by 104 points with Mark Martin right behind him there.
Yeah, and you can bet that Clint Bowyer has been made aware of everything that's kind of going on. He knows that Mark Martin's right behind him. He probably knows that Jamie McMurray has had a flat tire and that he's got a comfortable cushion there right now. So he's just kind of making this night the most that he possibly can, doing a good job.
And as those guys continue to run pretty much in lockstep, there is Tony Stewart with a 2-second lead over Jimmy Johnson in our 25th race of the Sprint Cup season, presented by Pennzoil.
Charging along through a Sunday night race at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. When it is done, NASCAR Now will have a complete post-race wrap-up for you at 11:30 Eastern Time on ESPN2. Then tomorrow, the biggest drag race of the season, the Mac Tools U.S. Nationals. We'll see the finals run presented by Lucas Oil. That's at 1 Eastern on ESPN2 on Labor Day. Next weekend, it's on to Richmond, the NASCAR Nationwide Series with the new car running Friday night, 7 Eastern, ESPN2. And next Saturday night, our NASCAR Sprint Cup Series coverage from Richmond is on ABC at 7:30 Eastern. We start with NASCAR Countdown at 7 Eastern, the race to set the seedings for the chase for the Sprint Cup. Coming up on the two-thirds mark of tonight's race, you're looking at the race leader, Tony Stewart. He has led the most laps tonight after a great early race fight between he and Denny Hamlin. Stewart assuming the mantle after Hamlin went out of the race with an engine failure. Other top stories tonight, Greg Biffle in the garage having major work done on his car, trying to keep himself in position to lock up a place in the championship run. Only a few caution flags. The race ran its opening 133 laps yellow-free. Then we had 3 cautions in 20 laps. I guess things kind of got mixed up a little bit. And the most leading tonight's been done by Stewart, Hamlin. Those 2 drivers, basically others that have led, Ryan Newman, Jimmy Johnson, and Carl Edwards. On the lead lap at this point, 22 of the 43 starters. We were going through the field just a little bit ago, get you up to speed with the way some of these drivers were running. We will pick up talking about some of the drivers with Dale Jr., who was describing his car to crew chief Lance McGrew a minute ago.
There's not sight anywhere. No, not really. I mean, I'm just getting to the back a lot. It jumps sideways, though, because it's so rough out here. It jumps sideways. It ain't like just sliding around unless I'm on the top. It slides around. Like a bump right there. I'm turning right off of that corner right there. I was turning right. The car don't look like it, but I am.
That's good stuff from Junior. Sprint giving you an inside look at the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup on the Now Network. For more NASCAR stats, in-car audio, and live race radio, check out NASCAR Sprint Cup mobile at sprint.com/speed. Mike Massaro has been in the 88 pit tonight. Michael?
And this strong run has to have the Legion of Earnhardt fans a little bit more excited than they have been recently. And they had reason to be excited earlier this week when team owner Rick Hendrick gave crew chief Lance McGrew a vote of confidence. He said he believes he is the guy for this job. He likes the chemistry on that team and that he expects that McGrew will be the crew chief for the near future. I spoke with McGrew earlier today and he said he wasn't surprised. He did not need to read that in the media to know it. He already knew that Hendrick was behind him, Jamie.
And behind him is the 43 of A.J. Allmendinger. He had his best start here at Atlanta of 16th. This has been a good night for him. He's been running top 15 the entire time. Woo, getting a little loose right there. That is what he's been struggling with since the beginning. He even ran the top 10 for a little while, but the car is good. Last round of pit stops, he didn't take any changes at all. He's still struggling a little bit, but it's getting better. Mike?
Back in the spring, David Reagan hurt the car very badly in the early going. Slapped the wall about 30 laps in, and then 4 laps later, he blew a tire, ending what could have been a very promising day. Because of that, his crew chief, Donnie Wingo, sat him down earlier this week and coached him a little bit, telling him not to race too many guys too early, too hard. Be patient. That's exactly what he's been doing throughout the course of the evening, and so far, it's been paying off. Wingo says if they still are in contention in the last 50 laps, that's when they can make a very hard charge, Jamie.
Mark Martin has had an up-and-down night. 14th right now. That is the best he's been. He was so tight in the beginning of this race, he slid back to 30th. Now, the team came into this race 14th in points. They knew it was a slim shot to make the chase, but their focus is to win, and they are willing to risk this race to get up there. Let's go to Doc.
And behind him, Jamie, Clint Bowyer just trying to hang on and be smooth tonight. He didn't want to get into any kind of trouble. Wanted to get a good, solid finish and hopefully get in the chase, lock his way in tonight, as opposed to having to wait till next week at Richmond. He had to dodge 1 bullet. He had damage on the right rear quarter panel, and the car is very, very loose. Pit stops coming up in just a few laps. Helen?
Maybe sooner than that, Doc. The 6 car in trouble off turn number 2, and the caution flag is out for the 4th time in this race.
Look out. That was close. We just got done talking about how good David Reagan's doing, and he's been doing good all year long, and now he goes around. Have to see what happened here.
And those cars, all the race cars look like they're really, a lot of them look like they're really loose. You see the right, left front tire there, but it looked like it just came off the corner, Rusty, and turned it around. Now let the tire let go.
Video proof upcoming.
Yeah, it just looks like he's in a little four-wheel drift there as he comes off the corner. May have had a tire going down, but did a good job of not hitting anything. So hopefully he can get in and get some 4 good, fresh Goodyear Eagles and get back out and get back to work. Had a good run going.
Was in 13th position at the time of the spin, and so the yellow flag out for the 4th time in this race at lap 200 with 125 to go. So when the pit road is open and the field gathered up behind the pace car, we will see everyone on pit road for 4 fresh tires, as Doc mentioned, approaching green flag pit stops when the yellow came out, and the Lucky Dog free pass. Matt Kenseth had just been put a lap down by the leader, Tony Stewart. Kenseth in 21st spot, and so he'll come back around after the pit stops and rejoin the lead lap group.
Oh, man, that thing doesn't sound good. Oh. Rusty Paul had a great run going tonight. Did a good job, but boy, it sounds like it's on 7 right now.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on with Roush Racing right now.
Wow.
You see Reagan spins out, helps Kenseth, and now the 98, that's another Roush type car, and it's down a cylinder, so a lot of Roush things happening.
Interesting, because this track has been rough on engines. We've had an average of 3 engine failures in each race the last several years, Marty, DJ, and Andy. Maybe that's going to be another one.
And as we mentioned, Kyle Busch is wondering if he's going to be the 3rd for Joe Gibbs Racing tonight.
Yeah, so far so good for Kyle. He's still in the top 10, but Paul Menard having a great run. He was up there in the top 10 for a lot of the race, and now he's kind of running around there crippled.
Yeah, those guys in 1st, 2nd, 3rd, Stewart, Johnson, and Edwards, they better watch out when this goes back green, because Kevin Harvick was coming in a hurry. He was already up to 4th spot, running the fastest laps by far.
All right, pit road is open. Let's send it to the good doctor.
All right, thank you, Marty. Carl Edwards said the car is loose. They're going to put a pound of air pressure in. They're going to put 2 rounds of wedge in and really try to tighten this board down to give Carl a chance to get the car off the corner. In front of him, Jimmy Johnson used the word comfortable for the first time tonight, that the car is really, really good. Dave.
Bottom of your screen, Tony Stewart said the grip is excellent, but help me rotate the center a little bit more. That's an air pressure adjustment for your leader, and he's gone.
Watch the race off pit road. Tony Stewart's going to get out easily in front. Then it'll be Jimmy Johnson. Jeff Gordon's going to pick up a spot. Kyle Busch's crew does the job again for him. Kevin Harvick loses 3.
How about Mark Martin?
And Mark Martin back in the top 10 for the first time tonight, guys.
Yeah, Kevin Harvick, I think they're going to have problems on the right front right here in his pit stop, and that's what cost him his 3 spots.
Remember, they also lost the valve stem on the last round of pit stops.
Yeah, it looked like they lost the lug nut right there on the right front.
As close as it is, as you showed earlier, Andy, how close these pit stops are. That's a killer.
There's a lot of spots.
So a tough break for our points leader.
With some great stops by Tony Stewart's team, though. Look at that right there. All of them in 12 seconds, except that second stop. That was all under green, those first couple, though. What a great job they were doing.
And we talked at the beginning of this broadcast about you had to be as good on the last stop as you are on the first, because one bad stop could cost you the race tonight. Don't forget to go to Goodyear.com to show your thanks and help support our troops. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR and provider of our aerial coverage tonight here at the Emory Healthcare 500. All right, we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing. 4 wave rounds: Carpentier, Nemechek, Yaley, and McDowell. And up front, it'll be Tony Stewart with Johnson, Edwards, Gordon, Kyle Busch, Truex, Harvick, Montoya. That's your top 8. We're racing again in Atlanta with 120 to go. Here we go, 3 wide again.
And once again, we see that guy restarting in 3rd be able to pull out and make the pass and take the lead.
Boy, and Jimmy looked like he was getting shuffled there. Now it looks like the momentum's coming back for him. We go on board. He's side by side with Kyle. 3 wide, a little bit further back. Ryan Newman, Dale Jr. Look out! That was Marcus Ambrose. On the right side, the 4 cars running for the race lead. Carl Edwards and Tony Stewart, both looking for race wins. Their first of the seasons for both of them if they can pull it off. Jimmy Johnson right behind him in 3rd, looking for his 6th win of the year. Newman trying to go underneath Mark Martin. That's all important, remember, for that last spot in the chase. Right now, Mark is in that 13th position.
You see Regan Smith up in that battle also. Marcus Ambrose. Here comes Kurt Busch. They've worked on this car 3 wide right behind this.
Now, Jamie McMurray's a lap down, but he's trying to race in that spot. Oh, he makes a little contact with Rudeman.
It was close. You're right. McMurray's trying to get back into that spot. Rudeman is the lucky dog recipient if it happens right now. Battle for second place as Jimmy Johnson getting past the 99. He's going on the high side to do it.
Yeah, Jimmy looks like they have this car dialed in pretty well right now. He just didn't get that restart.
And the key thing, too, it looks like they're making good adjustments tonight. Been keeping up with the racetrack. He's looked better and better every time that they've made pit stops.
Jimmy Johnson, a 3-time winner here at Atlanta back in October of '04, and both races back in 2007. Doc?
Andy, you're exactly right. Chad Canals really starting to stay ahead of the track now. Jimmy Johnson, the last time in, they raised the Panhard bar and added some tire pressure to try to get some more rear grip. Jimmy said he was really complaining of lack of rear grip, and it's helping the car now.
As you finish up, Doc, 3 wide. That's a battle for 8th. Jeff Gordon, Jeff Burton, and look at Casey Kane taking advantage on the low line.
Yeah, he got a nice run off of turn 4 as those two guys were racing. What a comeback Jeff Burton has made, though. Gosh, he was a lap down just a little while ago. We saw him sideways a number of times, but he's raced his way up into the top 10 now.
Well, remember what 2 cautions ago, 21 took the wave around, and then we got another quick caution, and that's what helped a lot of these guys. And here goes Marcus Ambrose.
Yeah, he's one of them, too. He took a wave around, got a lap back. Now his car's strong.
He's 15th. Mark Martin back to 16th.
Yeah, sliding backwards. You know, his pit crew did a great job. Got him out inside the top 10, but they just don't have the race car when they get back on the track.
And every spot he loses, more points lost in that quest for the final spot in the chase. How about Pablo Montoya? He's going around the 18.
We talked about how this is one of Montoya's best racetracks. You see that car wiggle a little bit. He tried to get down there on the yellow line. He's got it up inside the top 5 now.
Yeah, he's got back-to-back third-place finishes. And right now, he's running in 4th. Here comes Jamie McMurray trying to track down David Rudeman. That is for the all-important lucky dog. They both have gotten past Mark Martin now. Here comes Kurt Busch also in the mix. Remember, Kurt is back on the lead lap. He's running in 17th.
Yeah, it's a nice comeback for Rudeman, too, who had that transmission issue, not transmission of the car, but radio transmission issue. His helmet came unplugged and couldn't hear. NASCAR made him come in and get that fixed, and so he was 2 laps down at one time. Now fighting he's in the lucky dog spot, so if he could get a caution, he could get back on the lead lap.
He didn't want to give it up to Jamie McMurray, but Jamie wants it bad.
Jamie needs it bad. Traffic in front of him, that's Regan Smith and Marcus Ambrose.
Oh, man, Jamie McMurray close right there. He got a nice run off of turn 2.
Now, Regan's running in the 15th position. Ambrose is 14th, and here it is. This is side by side for the lucky dog spot, and McMurray is in it right now. His first car a lap down in 22nd spot. While that calms down for a moment, let's check in on the race lead, because there is Tony Stewart with a 6/10 of a second lead over Jimmy Johnson, Carl Edwards, and Juan Pablo Montoya here at NASCAR Land in Atlanta.
A beautiful night at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, looking down on this very fast 1.5-mile track from the Goodyear blimp. Go to Goodyear.com and show your thanks and help support our troops. Goodyear is the official tire of NASCAR. This racetrack, built on these grounds in 1960, held its first race July 31st of 1960, celebrating 50 years of racing this year. And boy, the memories we've got in the competition at this racetrack in that time, some of the most thrilling finishes in NASCAR history we've seen. How about this one? Kevin Harvick, Jeff Gordon.
Oh, I couldn't believe that. That was an amazing day for Richard Childress Racing. Good close finish, and Harvick wins the thing.
We've seen Carl Edwards have numerous wins here, including his first here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, and the first backflip we got to see on the
one of the great days in NASCAR history. Alan Kulwicki winning the championship in a thriller, while Richard Petty wrapped up his career and Jeff Gordon began his, all on the day the season ended here in 1992. And how about this guy?
Hey, I know that guy.
Look at that vertical jump, son. Get you some of that.
Rusty Wallace, one of the drivers who was crowned a champion at this racetrack, as for many years it held the last race of the season, or one of the last races of the season. Of course, a new era here at Atlanta Motor Speedway begun last year with Labor Day weekend racing, and now this Labor Day weekend will be the only weekend of racing at this racetrack going forward, as Track Owner Speedway Motorsports Incorporated moving what had been the March date here that had struggled with a lot of weather over the years to the Kentucky Speedway beginning next season. Some pretty good stuff on the track. While Tony Stewart leads Carl Edwards by 2.5 seconds, that is Jimmy Johnson telling Juan Pablo Montoya, you're number one, apparently, off of turn number 4, while doing 180 or so miles an hour.
You got to look at him out of the right side mirror window of that race car going through the corner. Wow,
that was incredible. That was for third spot. That's not easy to do, is it, Rusty, to be that sideways with one hand on the wheel?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what was going on right there. He's sideways, and it looks like he got so sideways it sucked his hand out the window, didn't it?
Yeah, that was it. There you go. It was all that air, yeah. Kyle Busch closing in behind them. Kyle, of course, with a big rally after being caught for speeding earlier and beginning to work his way back through the field and up into a top 5 spot. Mentioned earlier tonight that Kyle Busch had clinched a place in the chase. Greg Biffle trying to protect his after spending the better part of the last hour in the garage area or more getting repairs made to that number 16 car. Biffle returned to the action 71 laps down in 40th place. Why would they do that? Well, every car he passes on the racetrack in terms of the final finishing order tonight, and there's already 2 other cars that are, actually 3 other cars that are off the track. That's 3 points per position. 9 points can make the difference next week in Richmond.
Absolutely. They got that car looking awful good, too. I mean, they did a great job putting that thing together, and the reason they do that, NASCAR makes them run a minimum speed, so they can't go out there and just kind of lollygag around the bottom of the track. They got to run fast.
Yeah, guys did a great job on that team of getting that car back in shape, and Greg's going to go out and pick up some very valuable points, take a little bit of pressure off once we get to Richmond next week.
Good race for 11th spot here. Jeff Gordon, 24. Dale Jr., 88. Junior's another one. Looks like he's been hanging on out there in this long run, gentlemen.
And at one point, give Hendrick Motorsports the props. We've been picking on them a little bit about their lack of performance. They had 3 cars in the top 10. Right now, that's drifted back with Earnhardt and Jeff 11th and 12th. And, of course, Jimmy getting passed there by Montoya. He's in 4th position.
I tell you, Junior just has the rear of that car hung out just about every corner. And he's going forward.
Yeah, he's going forward, but it makes it difficult, especially on the restarts, to get your car up to speed and not lose a lot of time to the guys right up front. And I think that's when he gets so far behind. He's driving the wheels off of it right now, but making it difficult.
Make a note that Greg Biffle made one more lap. Actually did pick up 1 spot, moved him up to 39th. He's back in and looking like he's wondering if he's going to make it back. Yeah, he's got no power.
Voltage, and I'm not going to make it back.
No, it doesn't look like he's right there in turn 3. And if he does, I doubt he's going to make it. I mean, he's going pretty slow. It probably is going to bring out a yellow.
That's Kevin Conway going around him there underneath him. And if he doesn't make it out, obviously we could have another caution, which would be our 5th. Jamie McMurray would be the benefit.
Get him a set of batteries.
McMurray is the first car 1 lap down. Remember that battle just a few laps ago with David Ruderman? This is where it could pay dividends if the 16 can't make it in.
He might make it. I mean, he's still got just a little speed here.
There is Biffle, and we'll pull back, and he is going to make it. So it looks like Jamie's good fortune is not going to come to fruition, at least not yet. McMurray in 22nd, Earnhardt Jr. in 11th. While all this is going on, Tony Stewart's lead is now up to 4 seconds over Carl Edwards. That's the biggest lead anybody has had all night. Checking in with Casey Kane and Jeff Burton, that is a battle for position. That is 8th place at stake. And again, you mentioned it a little bit earlier, DJ. A great, whoa! Man, it seems like everybody that goes below that yellow line pays a price.
Well, yeah, you can get that left front tire down there to help your car rotate just a little bit so you can get some drive up off the corner. But you have to be careful. It can also work against you. Jeff Burton, very experienced driver, used it to his advantage right there to take that spot away from Casey Kane, move up to the 8th spot.
We can tell you Greg Biffle did make it behind the wall, so they'll work on that car again as we check in with Jeff Gordon. Gordon has slipped back to 15th. What's going on, Dave Burns?
And that was after restarting third, Marty. He says it's the loosest it's been all night. Crew Chief Steve Letarte promises a bigger swing. And after all that, here's Jeff's conclusion on the radio.
Right now, I'm just going to try to keep progressing. We're so bad.
You know, earlier, DJ, I was talking about how he was struggling, but that was in the top 5. Now he's fallen, struggling out of the top 10.
Wow, Dave, when you get a car that's that loose where you're talking about just not wrecking the car, this is not the place to be doing that. You have a racetrack that's extremely fast and very little grip, if any, so it makes it difficult. And you can see Jeff using his experience, just waiting, hoping to get a caution flag and it not be him.
Mark Martin passes him for position. Mark now 15th, Jeff 16th, and this is a trend that we've seen in Gordon where they have good early runs but not good finishes at the end. Let's check speed at the line. Here comes Tony at 168 and change.
Second place Edwards. It out, but see, Edwards fastest that lap, or faster than Stewart. Hey, look at Harvick. Second quick.
His 4-second lead is down to 3.5 seconds, and again we're in another run here. Last time Tony pitted was on lap 202. We're running lap number 233. With 93 laps to go, does Tony Stewart pick up his 3rd win here at Atlanta and his 1st of 2010? Well, we'll find out in about 92 laps. Welcome back to the Emory Healthcare 500, and make sure to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. And we've now got 87 laps remaining with Tony Stewart getting ready to come around Bill Elliott. And Elliott shown in 30th position, now 4 laps down. Total of 20 cars on the lead lap. Scott Speed is the last one on the lead. Paul Menard has also just gone a lap down. You see Darian Grubb as he's looking at the clock, and his lead has dropped from 4 seconds down to 2.3. What are you hearing, Dave Burns?
Well, no problems right now in the 14. Want to talk a little practice philosophy, though. Darren Grubb told me today that as opposed to some guys who think practice the bottom line only and then just work your way to the top later when you have to, they went half and half on all their practice runs. Start low, move to the high side. A 10-lap run, do 5 laps low, do 5 laps high. He's never really had to use that to drive to the front since he's been up front most of the time, but working traffic, going low, going high, depending on what the other car is doing, Tony's just been able to weave his way through all night long, and the way they practiced has really paid off.
Well, as we pointed out, he has yet to win here in 2010, and he's won at least 1 race per season every year of his career. Does he finally do it in race number 28? How about Regan Smith? We haven't talked much about him at all.
I'm telling you, this is the guy right here has driven himself right up into the mix of this on the lead lap, catching some really good cars. You see him now trying to chase down Ryan Newman. Also, you see the 00 of Ruderman there.
Yeah, and he'll catch Dale Jr. running sideways here in just a minute as we saw him come off of turn 4 sideways one more time.
Well, and Regan was among that 20-run group that on that second caution took the wave around and then got back on the lead lap there. Whoa, that's getting a little tail happy.
Yeah, and Regan has a tremendous amount of talent. We've seen him. He does a good job with his race car. He doesn't find himself in wreck. He's helping this race team become a much better race team too.
And has just re-signed with Furniture Row Racing, a multi-year deal. Let's go to the 2 box because Juan Pablo Montoya is under attack from Kyle Busch. At least he was for the moment. On the left side of your screen, you can see where Regan has gotten around Ruderman. And Ruderman, of course, is 1 lap down in 23rd position. But he's also got Ryan Newman up ahead of him as well.
One thing I love about this racetrack is how it kind of changes over the run. Early in this run, we saw Montoya actually drive up to 3rd, pass a lot of cars. Now you see track's kind of changed a little bit as the tires wear down, and now Kyle Busch is starting to make a run back on Montoya.
And on the left side, Newman does not want to be passed for this spot. Newman right now running in the 12th position, and again, he's one of those guys trying to fight his way into that last position for the chase. Whoa, Montoya on the right side getting awfully close to that wall. Jamie, what are you hearing?
Well, Dave was actually talking earlier about the setup for the 14 car, what they did in practice. Well, Brian Patty, crew chief for Juan Pablo Montoya, told me they set this car up to be good on the long runs. The problem was he couldn't get that through his driver's mind. His driver was impatient, wanted to be fast right off the bat. Well, it is paying off. This car, it continues to be one of the top 3 fastest each lap. Look for them to pit between 250 and 260, Mike.
And Jamie, Kyle Busch continues his rally back from some early race incidents where he had the speeding penalty on pit road. Now challenging for a top 3 position, trying to overcome the 42 car. The problem, though, he's just a little bit loose, saying he doesn't have enough rear grip to lean on, so he really can't attack the way he'd like. You saw the car get a little bit tail happy there through the corner. That's not what he wants. He wants to have a little bit more grip, something to lean on, so that he can really make the moves he needs to make to get by the 42 guys.
And while you're finishing up, all of a sudden Kevin Harvick is closing on Jimmy Johnson for 5th.
Well, Harvick's car is really good in the long runs here tonight. He's running some of the fastest times that we see on the racetrack right now.
Well, you guys said it during the break. He's had a couple of bad pit stops. He could be leading this thing.
Yeah, he's just starting out in the wrong position. You know, each time they work themselves up there to that top 5 spot, then they have a problem in the pits. But, you know, this is a championship caliber team. They're showing that, and they're showing that, you know, they're going to maybe the favorites to win. I know that's easy to say with him, but he's going to start out behind because he's only got 2 races left. He's only won 2, so we'll see what happens.
Well, these cars are on their 44th lap on this run.
Yeah, and I was bragging about Jimmy Johnson's team keeping up the racetrack. Looked really good, but now he slipped back to 6th.
All right, we mentioned the fact it's 44 laps. That means pit stops are coming again. So here we are at Atlanta. It's presented by Pennzoil, 78 to go, and another round of stops on the way. And there's your race leader. Back here at Atlanta, pit stops have just started with 73 laps to go. We can tell you Juan Pablo Montoya was the first to blink. Let's send it to Dr. Jerry Punch.
Jimmy Johnson will have to make one more pit stop. Jimmy said the car is loose on entry, but turns really well in the middle of the corner. Chassis adjustment, another air pressure adjustment. A little more time on the left front and left rear. Let's go down to Mike.
And Jeff Burton saying he's tight and needs more rear grip. They're going to make a air pressure adjustment, a 4-tire change, and Sunoco race fuel for the 31. Meanwhile, the 88 now on pit road as well. Junior, who we heard earlier complaining about the car being loose, well, they've tightened it up. Still not perfect, though. They'll try to loosen it just slightly, Dave.
Second place Stewart rated about 20 laps ago that the balance was still pretty nice, so it doesn't look like a lot of changes on this stop. Tony said virtually nothing else on the radio the entire run. It's a smooth stop for the 14 bunch.
Casey Kane also in as he completes his stop. So with 72 laps to go, another round of green flag stops, and oh, the pressure, and oh no, caution on the racetrack right now.
Road, though, so we get that fixed.
And Kevin Harvick has shredded the left front. Now,
left front fender.
Carl can continue his work because they were already in the box. Carl Edwards
like
comes out.
Most of the leaders had pitted right there. Looks like Harvick was going to be one of the last ones.
A tough break for our championship points leader. He's already clinched his spot, but Harvick was looking for another 10 bonus points for a win.
He ran it just 1 lap too long.
And they're sending him all the way around. He is going back out onto the racetrack on the inner liner.
Actually wonder if he had any brakes right there. If they just...
Yeah, I'm wondering why he did not stop.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Okay, guys, we're going to need the fender, the patches, the splitter looks fine. It's going to go all the way into the nose. Going to need the headlight, too.
All right, let's go back and see if we can see what happened here, the 29.
Yeah, you'll see right here. I think what happened was he tried to get down on pit road. Locks up that left front tire. Right here, that track is so slick. Can't make the commitment come, but he probably just flat spotted that left front until it blew out.
We're coming quickly outside.
Hadn't blown out yet, but it just damaged it so much.
Right there.
Let's just keep an eye on it. There it goes.
Man, that's too bad.
That's coming outside here, outside.
Tough break for Harvick. Had a great car tonight.
We got something, we got flat tire. Front blew out.
So now he finally does make it back in, and they go to work. They're going to have to...
Okay, let's go. Get caught up. Let's get caught up. Go, get caught up.
Now, they sent him back out, obviously, because they didn't want him to lose the lap, so he'll go back around. The word on the 24 is since pit road was closed, he came in and had to continue through, so he'll have to come back around. And there is Jeff. He's shown right now in 11th position. While we got a moment, why don't we go over the wall with Brian Chase.
Whoops. Uh-oh, had a little mishap with the fuel can.
Everything was good right up until the very end. Now the question is, did they get enough fuel in?
Yeah, I'm sure they got enough fuel in, but they just had looked like the little mishap with the fuel valve.
Probably enough fuel for the tires that he has. So.
Well, they certainly got the mess cleaned up very quickly down there on pit road, as you can see. And we'll take an opportunity here to squeeze in a break, and Carl Edwards will be our race leader.
Harvick led the championship coming in, but it's been a tough night for his team. First at lap 150.
Yeah, right rear tire. Looks like the impact wrench must have hit it and broke the valve stem off right there. The guys take a look at it, and that really got him in trouble right there.
Next pit stop, lap 203. Watch the right front.
Right front tire changer has a lug. It looks like it falls off. Watch him. He hits the jack. 1, 2, 3, 4, and all of a sudden there's one more left. Puts it back on with his hand, goes around. That slowed him up immensely.
Then at lap 255, as the driver was trying to slow to get to pit road for a green flag stop, couldn't get wound up in time, had to go back onto the track, missed the commitment cone, but he dragged that left front tire enough to wear a hole through it. It began shedding parts and pieces all the way around the racetrack, and you see Kevin Harvick's team is attempting to patch that 29 car up, but because of the way he came down pit road, as the yellow was being displayed for him, basically went back through and back on the track before the pace car had gathered up the field. He's gotten himself ahead of the field by a lap. So that's why the extended caution is out. NASCAR basically has to take a lap back from Kevin Harvick to sync people back up with the field. So that's what's going on here as we work with 67 laps to go under the caution flag. Big football game coming up on Monday night. 2 top 10 teams. It's Boise State, led by Kellen Moore, taking on Virginia Tech, led by Ryan Williams. In D.C., in the All-State Capitol, kickoff in the Capitol, not Capitol in the kickoff.
There you go.
Presented by Dick's Sporting Goods Kickoff Week on ESPN Monday at 8 Eastern. College football available on TV, online, and on your phone. ESPN.com has more information. We're coming back.
Back here at Atlanta, and boy, not too soon for Jeff Gordon. He was running on fumes. He comes in, as does Ryan Newman and a couple other cars, including Mark Martin and Kurt Busch. Dave?
Of course, he thought his worst problem was that really, really loose race car, but now track bar and air will be adjusted and wedged for him. And fuel, he's still got it fired at this point, guys, so that's the best sign of all. Won't have any issues there, and Jeff's off pit road, Jamie.
And Kurt Busch, his problems continue. He started off so tight early on. Now he's just struggling with how loose this race car is. They have made every adjustment that is legal in NASCAR. 4 tires and fuel for Kurt Busch.
See Mark Martin, their crew has completed work as well. Kevin Harvick back in for more work. They've gotten the timing issue sorted out, and they are now trying to repair that left front fender. And Carl Edwards will be your race leader. And Carl has led more laps today than he has in the last 46 races combined.
NASCAR Sprint Cup Series at Atlanta is presented by Pennzoil. Feel the clean. And in part by AT&T. Find out what's possible with the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. AT&T. Rethink possible. And Coca-Cola. Open a Coke and enjoy the race.
And back here, let's go to Goodyear.com to show our thanks and help support the troops. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR, as we look down from high above. A couple of cars came in to top off, including 2 that are on the lead lap, Jeff Gordon and Kevin Harvick, trying to stretch it here with 63 to go right now. And as the lights go out, let's also point out that it will be Carl Edwards on the inside alongside of Tony Stewart, Kyle Busch in 3rd, Juan Pablo Montoya, Martin Truex in 5th, and Greg Biffle. And let's give a tip of the hat to that crew. They rebuilt basically from the wheel well forward.
It looks beautiful, too. They've done a great job fixing it.
And he has picked up 12 points by getting back out on the track. So big for Greg Biffle and his team. Pace cars pulling off. As we said, it'll be 62 laps to go when they come by. Now watch Kyle Busch in third place. See what kind of restart he gets this time. Carl brings him down, and we're back to green flag racing. Oh, Tony opens the door. Montoya's going to blow by. Here comes Kane as well. Some smoke coming from one of the cars further back in the pack.
Yes, Matt Kenseth looks like has a little smoke coming out of his.
Can't see it from there. Maybe something, just a little bit of a rub that's now dissipated. But boy, Carl Edwards gets a great restart. Here comes Kyle flying back around Martin Truex to take second. Tony running in fourth.
Tony finally gets going, but it took him a full lap almost to get up to speed.
Yeah, we've seen him have some trouble on these restarts. Martin Truex doing a great job hanging tough there on the inside for that second spot.
Casey Kane side by side. Look, contact with the 56 and the 18.
Yeah, they'll be lucky if there's not a flat tire from one of those guys right there.
We'll keep an eye on that. And caution, the 82 of Scott Speed.
Oh, come on down. Come on, bring it to the pit. Bring it to the pit. Blew up.
Dang, I say it.
Ease her up, ease her up, ease her up, ease her up.
So, wow, now it's on fire.
Yeah, stop right now. Just stop.
He was running 16th, and quickly the safety crew on site.
Get out of there. Get out of there.
So we've seen a number of engine issues tonight on this track.
It's a tough racetrack on engines. Maintain a lot of RPM. You know, so it's a lot of turns in this track, but it does maintain a very high RPM all the way around the track.
And the fire's still going on the oil underneath, and there they get some
put the fire out.
So this is going to take a little bit of time to clean up because this is literally, about 250 yards down from pit in. And there it goes. Boy, Regan Smith does a nice job. Doesn't get into the back of him.
Got to be a ton of oil coming out of that car out the bottom.
And then here is the fireworks display that you don't want to see. And he did the right thing. You heard the crew say, just stop and get out.
Yeah, because that air is fueling that flame, and once they get it stopped, then it kind of stops. You see, did a good job, too, of not getting up in the cockpit of the car. See how well it's sealed up with the firewalls and floorboard.
Also, at the same time, we've been told that Paul Menard has pulled off, and there he is, and so it looks like their night is over. Now, we don't know for sure if this was an engine issue, but they were down on power.
Yeah, more than likely it finally let go.
Sounded like he was running on 7 cylinders. He had a great run going early in this race. And
it's Ryan Pemberton, the crew chief, and Scott just trying to figure out what happened.
All right. Pit road's going to be closed for a while, so why don't we take this opportunity to step aside and stay with us, because things are getting more interesting because we're getting closer to a fuel window where guys may be able to stretch it to the end. Under our 6th caution here tonight at Atlanta Motor Speedway, race number 25 on the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. And we'll show you exactly why, as we've got 57 laps to go, but we're under a lengthy caution. More on that issue in a moment. But here's the reason for the caution as the engine on the 82 of Scott Speed erupts.
Yeah, definitely something important broke inside that engine and tore up a lot of stuff down there, Doc.
Yeah, you had no idea it was on fire just watching our replay here. First of all, you okay?
Yeah, we're fine. I mean, yeah, it was pretty funny. I was coming in, and all of a sudden, Ryan got really panicky, and I was like, all right, I guess I'll stop now and get out. And then I came in and saw the replay. I was like, oh, guess we're on fire.
Any warning at all with the engine?
No, I mean, just right before I went, nothing special. It was engine expiring. Happens all the time.
Tough night for Scott Speed. Having a good run. Just moved up into a 16th position, guys.
Well, but there were 0 DNFs due to engine problems in 3 of the last 4 races here at Atlanta. But, boy, we have had a slew of them tonight. Now, let's go back to the last restart, because we all made the observation, and you could see it at home as well, about Tony Stewart.
Yeah, I mean, he's up here on the outside. He just does not get going. I mean, it's almost like it took him a full lap to get up to full speed.
Yeah, we've seen him a number of times, even when he was the leader of the race, restarting the race himself, get past and lose 3 or 4 spots.
Well, let's listen to his radio and see what he had to say about it.
Guys, I'm sorry. I'm doing everything I can in this situation. I really am. I promise. I cannot keep from spinning the wheels. Just gonna have to do our deal here. I'll get them back. Trust me. I've tried absolutely everything I can here, and I got one more thing in my bag here. I'll try to stick to our deal here.
All right, we're with Darian Grubb now, crew chief for Tony Stewart. Do you know what restart trick he has in his bag?
He's got a lot of tricks up his sleeve, so we're just going to see what he does. We've struggled pretty bad on restarts tonight, but by the time he gets out of turn 2, we're able to mow those guys back down and pass them. So just hope we can kind of stick with that.
Heard you talking about being within a fuel window. Do you want to add fuel here, or do you want to stop later and with tires?
You'll probably see when everybody else does.
All right, they've all been talking about up and down pit road. One thing they do know is they've got to get that restart thing figured out, guys.
Well, and here's a couple of things to think about. Tony has clinched the most laps led. He's led 151 tonight. But here's the bad news. He's won only once in the last 6 races when he's led 100 or more laps. So the numbers are not necessarily in his favor, and he's got to sort of figure out how to solve this restart issue.
Yeah, he doesn't care about those numbers. That's only whenever they work in your favor from a driver's standpoint. So he's going to do everything he can, but he does have to figure that out, especially when we come down like a green-white checker. But Andy, why is it you crew chiefs will never let us know anything you're going to do?
Just stay tuned. You'll see.
Oh, gosh.
You can't tip your hat. These guys all have TVs on their pit box down there, and if he says what he's doing, they're all going to be scrambling and doing what they need to do to beat him. So I don't blame him for not tipping his hand just yet. I think I expect them to come down pit road, at least the leaders. I think they'll come down and get fuel, get tires, and try to make it to the end. The thing with Stewart on the restarts, I'm not sure it matters a lot. I think his car's fast enough that even if he does let 2 or 3 go, like you could hear in his voice, he's pretty confident he can run them back down.
Well, let's go down to the pit studio because, Alan, you and the guys sometimes pick up things that we can't even see from up here. What have you guys observed?
on this one tonight, toss a coin, right? Although the one thing I will point out that we saw here back in the race in March, there was a green-white checker, and people stopped before the overtime to take tires. We generally will see a late caution at this race, and tires are more important than fuel. But really, the strategy is going to be an interesting play. And for Tony Stewart, you're inside that car. What's the trick?
Well, the trick that I've always done, I mean, you just got to do the good old classic burnout. I mean, to get the stuff off the tires. There's different ways to do the burnout to get them off. If you just light the car up and spin the tires a lot, that's not the way to do it. Every time I had to do restarts to get a good grip, I would spin them a little bit and then chirp them 2 or 3 times and make sure that the rear tires were hooked up. That always worked for me. And I got a feeling that's probably one of the tricks Tony's doing. He knows all about this stuff.
I think the other thing right now, you got 54 laps to go, probably 53 when we get started. I think you go ahead and pit immediately and go ahead and get fuel. You know, a guy like Tony Stewart, we know he's going to be at least 5 laps short, maybe 6. I think you go ahead and get it over with. He's got a good race car. I think most of the leaders are going to come pit anyway and get some fuel and be ready to run to the end of the race.
Haven't run many laps on these tires. Let's see if anybody...
I think they're coming.
Anybody takes tires. Let's see. 20 cars on the lead lap. Andy, what are you going to do? And I'll give you a couple examples. Give me Edwards and pick a car. Give me Johnson. You stop if you're them?
Yeah, I do. I come in and get tires right here, get fuel, just go to the end because, you know, you can make it from here. If you don't pit, you're taking a chance on a caution coming out later. And even though they only have just a couple laps on these tires, they're still going to be slower.
Yeah, it's amazing that you only have to get a restart or 2 and a heat cycle or 2, and these tires lose a lot of their grip. So these guys are going to want tires, I'll assure you, if they're even thinking about getting close to going to the end.
Well, let's talk about this. The last green flag stretch was 11 laps or less in 7 of the last 8 races here. So the chances are you are going to get one more caution late in this race.
But you know what? If I'm Jeff Gordon, I believe I stay out. He's got enough fuel. Remember, he was the last one to get fuel, so he can stay out here, maybe even gamble on getting some track position.
All right, they're all coming. Let's send it to Dr. Jerry Punch.
Thank you, Marty. 99, 18, 14. Top of your screen, Carl Edwards. They're counting the laps. He can make it about 53, 54. It's going to be very close. They will change 4 tires and fill it up full of fuel. Mike.
The question Dave Rogers presented to Kyle Busch was simple. Do you want fuel or track position? The answer, obvious. He's on pit road for fuel, 4 tires, and around a wedge, Dave.
4 tires, packet full of fuel. That duty goes to Jeff Gooch Patterson. He has put a second can to it. Jamie.
42 at Juan Pablo Montoya. Too tight, he can't go. Air pressure, tape on the grill, 4 fresh tires. He's down and away.
First off pit road, Martin Truex Jr., followed by Kyle Busch. Carl loses 2 spots. Clint Bowyer, big for him, picks up 4. Let's look at his pit stop for Martin Truex Jr. Let's go over the wall with Brian Chase.
fuel issue right at the end, had a spill. Here they go. No problem that time, guys.
Nice clean stop.
There's the race off pit road, and you can see Kyle coming out second, and then Carl Edwards. Now we had several cars stay out, and it's Kurt Busch. DJ, let's talk to him.
Hey, Kurt Busch, Dale Jarrett, the ESPN. You have a copy?
Oh, hey, DJ. How you been all day?
Hey, man, the question is, how have you been? This has been a long night for you, but here you are leading the race.
Yeah, all of a sudden you guys want to talk to us. We've had a long night with the Miller Lite Dodge. Missed the handle on it, pushing in the center, loose in, loose off, and then it gets loose as we go. I mean, I can talk all night about race car stuff, but we only have 2 laps on our tires. Everybody in front of us had 2 heat cycles, so they had about 4 to 5 laps. We know there's 50 to go. We're just going to hang on to it. It's the only gamble we got here.
Hey, with what you know with the last change you made, do you have the car good enough to race up there right now, maybe pull this thing out?
I would say we just need to fade gracefully. That's what my dad taught me when I didn't have a good race car, because I don't think we got enough to hang on to anything here.
All right, man. Be safe. Thanks for talking with us.
Hey, Steve Addington, Andy Petrie, you got us?
Gotcha, Andy.
Hey, Steve, what kind of adjustments have you had to make tonight? I mean, we've seen a lot of cars out of control out there, loose, sideways, but you've been tight tonight?
We've been tight, loose. We've been a little bit of everything, Andy. We've made some big changes here. Sticking rubbers in, making big wedge and track bar adjustments, big air pressure adjustments. Just taking big swings at it.
Well, pretty impressive the way you're able to do all that and now gain track position with a little strategy, man. Good luck the rest of the way.
Yeah, we'll see how it shakes out here.
Well, there's one other car that stayed out. That was Jeff Gordon. So right now, Kurt is in first, and Jeff is shown officially in second place. And in third place would now be Martin Truex Jr. Let's listen in on his radio.
Good job, guys. Way to be. Save gas here. We're still a little bit short, but save gas here. Got it.
Okay, so you hear that. Now, before this pit stops, the 2 car was 13th. The 24, if you remember, was sliding backwards in 18th. And if they've got their combination set up, does Jeff Gordon finally break that winless streak? And does Kurt Busch pick up his 4th win here?
Well, let's keep things real. You know, they're just trying to steal track position. They haven't had the best cars all night. The best cars are lined up behind them, and it's going to be a big race to the finish.
All right. While we've got a moment, let's talk about the ticket to the race, because we've got some big ones coming up, obviously, with the chase just around the corner, and we'll decide who makes the chase next week at Richmond. And all you have to do is log on to NASCAR.com/tickets. Call the number at the bottom of your screen. You can see, as we've got quite a few great stops on the schedule coming up in the next few weeks. All right, this is going to be interesting. Kurt Busch last pitted on lap 260, Gordon at 262, and everybody else just came on lap 272. And we know how fast tires have gone away, by as much as 2 seconds a lap after 8 laps. So what do you think's going to happen?
Well, you just got to count the green flag laps. I mean, we've been riding around under caution, and that doesn't really hurt them, but we'll see right here.
Yeah, watch these 2 front guys spinning their tires. They've got a little bit of time on them.
Green flag is out. Kurt Busch, the race leader, took the outside line, and here we go. So far, so good. Both of them get a pretty good start, although Truex is all over the 24. And Edwards is trying to get underneath Martin. And he does.
See, Kyle Busch has moved up into that 2nd spot.
See, Casey Kane now getting a big run.
Boy, Kurt, all of a sudden, looks like he's been a giant killer all night.
Well, it's really the first time they've been in any clean air, so to speak. I don't expect him to stay there. He didn't sound too confident that would happen, but it was the right call. They've done a really good thing to see what their car will do out front now.
Montoya, you saw the sparks coming off of Bowyer's car, but right now, Kurt Busch is opening up the lead over 2nd place, brother Kyle, and Casey Kane in 3rd. I saw a little smoke out of the 18.
I'm trying to see if that was smoke or if that might have been some speedy drive from one of the last cautions, something that was still over there.
Oh, let's try 3 wide. For Jeff Gordon, it's a handful. They obviously did not make the right adjustments because he just got swept away by both teammate Jimmy Johnson and Carl Edwards. Here comes second place. Now give it to Casey Kane.
Where'd he come from? I mean, we've talked about him a little bit running in the top 5. And here he is trying to run down the leader.
Martin Truex trying to get back into the mix as he's underneath the 24 Gordon now. And here comes Tony.
I think Tony Stewart maybe just kind of biding his time. He knows that his car has been as good as anybody on the long run. They're probably close on fuel. I think he's just going to take it easy, work his way up towards the front.
Harvick's got a tire rub, we're being told, and you can see a little smoke coming out of the back of the car as he is well off the pace. Now,
yeah, some of the repairs are trying to fall apart on him up front. Looks like it might be rubbing the left front fender.
Back to the action out on the track with 47 laps to go. There's Montoya. He is now right in front of Clint Bowyer. Bowyer shown in the 9th position. And here comes Jimmy Johnson taking a peek to the high side around Carl Edwards. And Edwards is trying to go underneath the 18 of Kyle Busch.
Yeah, Kyle's really struggling right now. You can see with this car. Just can't get it through the center of the corner. Gets off the corner okay. He's getting ready to lose his 3rd spot to Carl Edwards.
Down the backstretch and into 3, and Carl does clear him. And here comes, look at Johnson, and he's got a little smoke coming out of the back. Battle for the race lead. Here comes Casey Kane. Is he going to take it over? Yes. Yes. I think he's got him. He's got him cleared. This will be our 19th lead change tonight. Meanwhile, the 48 goes around the high side of Kyle Busch.
We've seen Johnson have his car pretty good when the tires were fresh. Air pressures are down. He could run up here in this spot. It'd just be a matter if they've made the right adjustments now for this car to hang on.
As they come by the stripe this time, our 7th different leader now officially, with Casey Kane taking over the top spot. And a 19th lead change. Marcus Ambrose, remember, he is also in this mix. He's running 16th right now, trying to put Ryan Newman back 1 spot. Newman comes right back on him on the high side. Right side of your screen, that's Jeff Gordon, Juan Pablo Montoya. That is 8th, 9th, 10th in your screen. And Montoya looks like he's going to get under him.
See Ambrose sideways off of turn 4 there.
Well, we've seen more cars sideways than a drifting contest tonight. I mean, and here we go with now Kurt Busch and Carl Edwards going after each other.
I'm pretty impressed with Kurt Busch so far.
And here comes the 48.
Yeah, you can see it's whenever Carl Edwards had to get out of the throttle a little bit there down on the inside. That gave Jimmy Johnson a big run to get up there. He may try to make it 3 wide right here.
Whoa, this is going to get interesting. Here they go. 3 wide. Everybody hold on. Can you do it clean? Yes, sir. Kurt Busch goes all the way up to the wall.
Here comes Jimmy, though. Look at this momentum.
And on the left side of the screen, Jeff Gordon trying to do all he can just to hang on. Carl going back down to the bottom of the racetrack. You know, the drivers currently in the top 5 have won 11 of the last 12 races here at Atlanta. What do we always talk about? The cream rising?
Yes, that's for sure. Casey Kane's done a good job tonight of disguising his car being that good. I can tell you that.
Marcus Ambrose and Ryan Newman, that's still that battle for 15th. And Mark Martin's in that mix as well. That's all for position. Here comes Jeff Gordon all of a sudden coming back on Clint Bowyer. That's for 9th.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to hold Clint Bowyer off here very long. Jeff's just struggling with this race car. He's got a couple of laps on his tires more, which is not a whole lot, but it is just enough at this place, especially when your car isn't very good.
And lurking just behind, here comes the 31 of Jeff Burton. He also in this mix with Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that group as well.
Jimmy Johnson now, he's making a big move. He's catching Casey Kane.
The lead is about a half a second. That's what it looks like, and you've got the top 3 all in your screen right now. Next time by, 39 laps to go.
So Jimmy's been pretty well committed to that extremely high line. Working for him.
Yeah, that'll generally be a place that you can run up there, be a little bit easier on your tires. See Casey Kane up there. He's not going to get by him on the high side. See Jimmy really slide his car through the center of the quarter, try to cut it down low and get a nice run off the corner.
Yeah, I don't think Casey's going to give him that high line getting into 3.
See Kane
I got
dive
him
to kind of the middle of the racetrack. Here comes Jamie McMurray back on the lead lap.
And remember, McMurray, that's 12th position as he gets around Dale Earnhardt Jr., A.J. Allmendinger. That's all for position there. And the battle for the race lead is getting ever tighter. Here we go, looking for bonus points perhaps. Remember, Jimmy's got 5 victories this year. Denny Hamlin is out of this race, in fact shown officially in 43rd position.
Probably the hungriest driver in this shot would be Carl Edwards, though. Hasn't won in a long time. He would really love to win this race.
Yeah, and it's bonus points for him too. They would move him 10 points closer. He's going to be in the chase.
Right, Denny has won 5 races, and of course the 48 of Jimmy Johnson has won 5 races. So if he can pick up a win, he would pick up 10 additional points over Denny going into the chase and the #1 seed.
Yeah, you can see Jimmy really sliding his car around. Now Carl's going back to the bottom. This is where he was really fast on the last longer run.
Little puff of smoke, maybe a little tire rub on the 9. Here we go. Jimmy's going to take another look, and you're right. Casey does not want to give him much room on that high side because that's where the 48's really been running well.
And he can make Jimmy use up some tires here.
Look at this, 3 wide.
Carl's been running down low, and boy, he's got a little twitch in there as well. This is great. All 3, nose to tail. And looking down on the crowd here, folks, they are all on their feet as we've got 36 laps to go. Here comes Carl again, going to try the low side. Slides it back up, everybody back in station.
Yeah, now you see why everybody talks about loving to race here. This is what it's about. And these guys have run almost 300 laps around here, and they're separated just by a few hundredths of a second right here.
Everybody in that top
look
group.
how close Casey Kane gets to the wall.
They're all running 32-second laps right now, leaving nothing on the table with 35 to go.
Couldn't slide a piece of paper between Casey Kane's car and the wall last lap.
He is not going to give that high line to the 48, and it is still paying dividends for him. Casey, 2 wins here. Jimmy Johnson, of course, he's won here 3 times. Carl Edwards picked up his first ever Cup win here back in 2005.
Yeah, you can see Carl Edwards get a really good run off the corner that time, right on Jimmy Johnson's bumper. See Jimmy going to try to make the pass now.
Here we go. 8 combined wins between the 3. Oh, and Jimmy gets loose. Door open for Carl. Can he get past him?
Yeah, Carl was driving it too. He was sideways on the bottom.
And all it did was gave the 9 car a little bit of breathing space. What's happened to Tony Stewart? There he is, running in 5th position. And now he has just gotten around Kyle Busch for that 5th spot. Kurt Busch is his next target. Dave Burns.
And of course, restarting back in traffic after they lost a position on pit road. A little tight in the center of the corner, but it seems to be coming to him now, and he's making his way back forward. One of the best cars all night for the 14 bunch, and they've just hung in there.
Tony on that last lap ran a 31.9. The leader ran 32.2.
Well, what he's trying to make up for is that one bad restart he got. He was up front, spun the tires, went back to about 4th or 5th, and then the caution came right back out. Then they ended up making that pit stop, losing another spot. So it really did set him back in the run, and he's going to have a lot to make up here.
This is great, these 3. I mean, Carl just loves the bottom, but he just can't carry enough momentum to finish the deal.
Yeah, and Jimmy Johnson would just love to get out front. He knows that he could stretch this out a little bit if he could get that clean air on the nose of his Chevrolet.
You know who else knows that?
Yeah,
Casey Kane.
Yeah.
How about Juan Pablo Montoya going past Martin Truex? That moves Montoya up to 7th. And here comes Martin right back on him. Meanwhile, the battle back up front. There we go. Let's split screen it for you.
I've been surprised that Jimmy hasn't just tried to dive all the way to the bottom like where Carl Edwards is to see if he might put a slide job on Casey Kane.
Well, we've got caution on the racetrack.
Reckon 2. 12 just hit the wall in 2 and drove it across the racetrack. Just watch for debris.
Word you heard there. Brad Keselowski got into the wall just hard enough. Brings out our 7th caution.
Yeah, man, if you got a flat, we need to pit now. But
And how good a move was this by Kurt Busch and those guys? He stayed up in the 4th spot. Just really smart, Steve Addington and Kurt Busch.
Ooh, yeah.
This was close. See how sideways.
Wow. Good job not to hit anything.
And a good job for everybody else to avoid him.
And it's going to change everything, though. All of them will come down pit road. Like I said, it's a good reset now for Kurt Busch.
Brad finished 12th last night in the Nationwide Series. And what it means for David Ruderman is he gets the lucky dog and gets back on the lead lap. That'll give us a total of 22 cars on the lead lap.
Well, he's worked hard all night. He was 2 laps down at one time, so finally getting back on the lead lap.
All right, we talked about the fact the chances were we were going to get one more.
It's a big opportunity now for pit crews to shine. They can get their driver in a position to win this race, and they all know it. This is when it's a gut check time for the pit crews.
And we talked about at the very beginning. Are you as good on your last stop as you have been on the first couple? And Tony Stewart's team has been spot on pit stops.
Yeah, it may not be the last pit stop, but you got to treat it like that it is.
Yeah.
We have 30 laps to, or just under 30 to go, because anything they run over 8 or 9 laps, they're going to come back again.
Well,
but you got to get this one out of the way first.
The race off pit road is going to be the one to watch right now.
Well, anyway, you look at it, this is going to set everybody up to put them in position to win. Even if they do make another pit stop, they got to make this one count if they're going to have a shot at it. We'll see how Casey Kane's crew handles this right here. This is the first time they've had the lead coming on pit road tonight.
All right, pits are open. Let's set it early to Jerry Punch.
Got you, buddy. Pit stop coming down 99.48. Both drivers said the cars are so good, let's not take any major chances. Slight air pressure for Carl Edwards. No changes for Jimmy Johnson. Mike.
Casey Kane pretty happy with the race car. He says just make a slight air pressure adjustment, a quarter pound out of the right rear on the 9-car, 4-tire change there, Dave.
Tony Stewart's tight race car got out in clean air. It was loose again, so they're going to make an air pressure adjustment to get that car back to him. Jamie?
And Kurt Busch says this is the best the car's been all night. He starts off a little snub. No changes for the first time tonight. 4 tires and fuel for the 2-car.
Race off pit road and take a look. See where the 14 is. We talked about how good those guys have been. Picks up 3 spots. Edwards' crew does the job. Kane loses 2. Johnson loses 2.
Way to recover, boys.
Bowyer picks up 2. That was the 99 radio you heard. Let's go back and take another look at this.
See, Edwards gets out pretty cleanly. Look at Stewart, man. What a job that pit crew's done tonight.
Can you tell those guys are happy?
Hey, they're
Absolutely.
just as competitive as the drivers, I'll tell you that.
But we mentioned it. Tony Stewart's crew, they get the A+ award tonight. They just gave their driver another chance.
Well, he's going to get a chance to start up front again. We'll see how good he can restart. We'll see that little trick maybe he's got up his sleeve.
Said he had something working.
Okay, now. And the pit crew for Kurt Busch.
Well, yeah, and Steve Addington's done a great job of strategy tonight, working on this race car. And Kurt Busch, really, for not giving up on this and really working with the crew, you got to give him a lot of credit.
Yeah, this was a 25th place race car early in this race. And these guys
at
were sitting
best.
here, yeah, at best. And they're sitting here in the 5th spot now.
On board with Kurt. Got the visor up, getting some air. Of course, coming up right after our race, it will be Sports Center, and we'll be able to talk with the race winner as he'll join the Sports Center crew. We've got a major pennant race injury. Get you the update on that. And a wild finish on campus.
I hadn't seen Sports Center, but I hope that's not anybody on my Yankees team.
Well, hate to see anybody injured, quite frankly,
Well,
going
I
down
do
the
too.
stretch. All right.
But it'd be better if it's not them.
Okay. You're allowed to be a fan. All right, while we've got a moment, let's go back to the racing that we had going on with the top 3 and listen in on Jimmy Johnson's evaluation.
I got so excited I got a hamstring cramp that I had to fight for about 10 laps.
Hell, if that's all it takes for me to punch you in the hammy next time before you get in the car.
Is that something you fight in the car?
You do, especially here. I mean, this is a long race. We've been here a long time. You sweat a lot, even though this is at night. It's still hot inside these cars, and you get tensed up because you're there running sideways with these other cars trying to take the lead, and I've had that to happen before. It's amazing you can keep going like that.
We're 20 minutes shy of being 4 hours behind the wheel. That's how much. All right, the waiver rounds are going around right now. We'll get the list and get it to you as long as it's not 21 long.
Yeah, we had one earlier in the race. I thought they threw the green flag early.
yeah, we're looking, and Andy's going, did they throw the green? All right, here are the winless streaks of guys that, well, up front. Carl Edwards, 60 races from Homestead of 08. Tony from Kansas, 09 in October of 31.
Boy, it doesn't seem like it's been that long for Tony, but I guess it has.
Oh, yeah, as we mentioned, he's had at least one race win ever since he's come into Cup.
Yeah,
each of those years.
Yeah, 6 of our top 7 right now are guys that are in the top 12 right now. So a win would mean a lot to them. 10 bonus points going into the chase.
All right, here are the waiver rounds. There's only 7 this time. Gilliland, Elliott, Blaney, Hornish, Carpentier, Quapple, and Logano. We mentioned the fact Ruderman gets the free pass. And it also means with Gilliland, Elliott, and Blaney coming around, that will give us 25 cars on the lead lap. Let's reset it for you. It's going to be Carl Edwards, then Tony Stewart, Casey Kane, Jimmy Johnson 4th, Kurt and Kyle 5th and 6th, then Bowyer, Montoya, Truex, Jeff Gordon. That is your top 10. Here comes the pace car. Edwards, you got to imagine, yes, he does. He picks the low line, the inside route, because that's where he's been the best. Does Tony get wheel spin this time?
No, a lot better for Tony Stewart that time.
Maybe one of those tricks worked.
Yeah, he's going to have the lead coming out of turn 2 right here.
Look at Kyle going high on the 48, 3 wide. Look out, this could get dicey. Now Kurt's trying to go underneath.
Man.
Whoa!
Stewart blasted to the lead.
And Tony, contact. Casey Kane and the 2, and somehow they managed to hold on.
Oh, man, what a job Kurt Busch did there.
Wow. A lot of damage there on the 9 car, though.
Could have been Casey Kane's race right there. They got tire rubbing. Now he's trying to work his way down. He can't do it. So Casey Kane's not.
Left front, guys. Flat tire.
And his chance of winning again here at Atlanta have just gone away. Now the question is, can he get back before that tire lets go like we saw happen to Kevin Harvick? Meanwhile, look at what's going on here. You got Jeff Gordon, the 56 of Truex, and there's Juan Pablo Montoya. Here comes Ambrose and Matt Kenseth. Now that is all for position, starting from 8th on back. Gordon going to go the high side on Truex. While this is going on, we got the caution going out, and now we've got debris on the track. Obviously, some of that contact. And now we know why.
Same thing happened to
Harvick. And there is some of the leftover material just rolling down off of the banking. Let's go back, take a look, and see what happened as we are getting into that stretch where everybody gets a little extra aggressive.
Well, Casey Kane got sideways off of turn 2 here. Probably lost a little momentum right there. Looks like Ryan Newman's right behind him. Yeah, got a little bit of a push there, and that sent Casey. He needed a little more racetrack. But the 2 car stopped him from spinning down to the inside.
And I'm amazed the 2 didn't cut a tire.
And he kept the position. Look, he gets back up on the track in the throttle.
Yeah, look at the way he brings it up and maintains control. On board with Bowyer.
Clear high, clear high.
See, all this happening right in front of Clint Bowyer. He's thinking, oh my gosh, I've been safe here all night.
He was really pulling for Kurt Busch in that one.
Well, that's the second time he's made it through.
All right, here we are coming off of turn 2. You can see 48 really kind of sucked the 9 around a little bit. He's okay right there. Going to get a little push from the 39, and that sends him down into the 2. And only just great ability right there kept that from being about a 20-car wreck.
All clear.
And Kurt is still shown in 5th position even after all that.
Yeah, he's got some damage, though. He got some pretty good contact on that right front fender. Be lucky if he doesn't have a tire rubbed.
Will anybody come here, though, Andy, even though they've run a few laps?
Well, if you're leaders, I wouldn't come. I mean, you have to give up too much track position. You will see some of the cars that are back on the lead lap come.
Get the fender beat out. Get a hammer. Get the fender beat out. We'll have another flat. We got the pace car coming.
Here Heard the crew talking about get that fender away from the tire. They'll have another flat. The 6 car, David Reagan's going to get the dog.
I think the water tank's busted.
And you heard that. They think maybe the water tank is...
You losing water pressure?
See, quite a few cars came down pit road.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Juan Pablo Montoya is the first taker. He's followed by Jeff Gordon, Jeff Burton, A.J. Allmendinger, Earnhardt, McMurray, Reed Sorensen, and the 5. Let's go to Dave.
They weren't real happy, Marty, with the card on that run. Tight on landing when Jeff gets to the middle of the corner and up off. So they will change 4 tires. You see the wedge wrench going in the back window there, and that fresh rubber will be worth a lot. Jamie?
And Juan Pablo Montoya took advantage here. 4 tires and filling it up. No adjustments for the 42. Oh, they did make an air pressure adjustment there. He wanted a slight adjustment. Race off pit road. And the 42 goes down to the 24, guys.
Jeff Gordon was the first off. You saw Montoya come out as well. Everybody else following in line. The race leaders, of course, stayed out. And there is Tony Stewart, followed by Edwards, Jimmy Johnson, and there is Ryan Newman, guys, up into 4th. And if he can stay there, that puts him 13th. And more problems for the 29. They're still trying to keep that fender from just literally coming off again. Casey Kane has gone behind the wall, so they're going to have to see if they can work on that. All right, let's check in with Dr. Jerry Punch.
Let's chat with Bob Osborne here in the 99 pit. Bob, what do you guys have for that 14 car, these final 20 laps?
I guess we'll have to wait and see. He definitely gets out on us early in a run, but we've been able to run him down so far. We just don't know if we're going to have enough laps to do that now. It's a lot shorter run than what we saw earlier tonight. So we'll do our best and see what we come up with.
Might be the most emotion I've ever seen out of you when you guys gained 2 spots on that pit stop. You were jumping up and down and pounding your fist on the side of the car. Pretty exciting stop.
Yeah, I really like it when the boys perform well. And you know, the emotions get the best of me for sure. I like to see the boys have success like that, and especially after you know, a mediocre pit stop. I can't say it was bad, but they had a mediocre stop before that and then come back to take the lead. You can't ask for anything more than that.
All right, let's check into Tony Stewart pits with Dave.
Doc, of course, Tony has driven back to the front. Darian, still any restart concerns, and what do you do about the 99?
I'm not real sure. Tony seemed to figure something out on that one. Picker did an awesome job and got him out there on the front row and was able to hold his own and got the lead there. So I think he's got something figured out, whatever he needed to do to clean his tires up.
And what about the competition out there? Carl was looking pretty good near the end there.
It's pretty stout, but my money's on Tony Stewart.
All right, they've had a great car all day long. Let's see if they can hold him off at the end.
All right, don't forget that coming up right after us is Sports Center, and you'll be able to tune in. We'll have more following up our race broadcast tonight, but right now we've got about 19 laps to go next time by. And they are still working on Casey Kane's car back in the garage area. And
yeah, that left front tire came apart, and I think heard him say maybe it busted a water tank, part of the cooling system. They've got to get that fixed before they can go back out.
all right, let's while they're doing that, remind you that the top 11 stayed out. Now that list includes Stewart, Edwards, Johnson, Newman, both Kurt and Kyle Busch, Clint Bowyer, Truex, Kenseth, Ambrose, and Regan Smith. That is your top 11. Jeff Gordon, Montoya, those are the first 2 of the group that pitted. And tires, what we keep talking about. What do you think?
It'll be interesting for sure, but this could be a problem for Tony Stewart. He's been having problems on these restarts, and now that the tires have a few laps on them, getting them really cleaned off here, this would whenever he would be more susceptible to something with that tire spin and could cost him the lead. Once he gets going, man, that thing flies.
You know, one car we have not been able to focus a great deal of time on because he's been fighting his way through the field. But shout out to Awesome Bill from Dawsonville. Mr. Elliott is now 22nd on the lead lap, started as far back as 40th in this field. And he has 5 wins here at this track, second only to Terry Labonte, 6 of the active drivers that are here racing tonight.
Yeah, he's got to hold up his end of the bargain. His son Chase won at Wilkesboro yesterday. First race they've opened that track back up since, I think, what, 96?
Been quite a while, yeah, 1996. All right, what is going to happen? Keep an eye on the front 2. Does Tony Stewart get a good restart? Or does Carl Edwards just blow away? Or could it be somebody coming from behind those two? We're about to find out. Green flag is out, and we're racing now with 18 to go here at Atlanta.
Tony Stewart spun the tires that time.
In the middle, a 48, but he's going to get the door slammed on him. Tony gathers it back up.
Yeah, Kurt Busch down on the inside digging. Here comes Ryan Newman on the high side.
Newman smells the opportunity, picking up some big points. He goes past Kurt Busch. Here comes the 48 along with him.
You look at Kurt Busch dig, man, after having a terrible night, getting banged around on that last little incident on the track, and he's still digging.
Trying to get under the 48. Jimmy Johnson can't seem to get it done.
You see Clint Bowyer right behind this group trying to battle Kyle Busch. That 6th spot.
Ryan Newman is one of the best, too, at a short run. He can get his car going just about as good as anybody.
Well, we were asking earlier if the 48 would ever try coming down. He's going to try it right now on Ryan Newman.
He didn't have much choice. Ryan's running that high side, but see just how much Jimmy has. He can't waste much time here. Tony Stewart and the 99, Carl Edwards, will be gone from him.
Looking from the view that Kurt Busch has.
We're running some of the fastest laps of the night. Almost 30 flat for Tony Stewart last lap.
I can tell you, the 31 car coming up behind Kyle Busch there, he's the first one with fresh tires on. He's making a nice run.
That, of course, being Jeff Burton, shown in 7th position. The first two have sort of checked out on this group. That's 3rd place Johnson, followed by Newman, Kurt, and Kyle Busch, then Burton and Bowyer.
Whoa, we see Jimmy Johnson sideways off of turn 2.
Just give you an audio update here. We'll tell you that the 29, Kevin Harvick's back on pit road. He's shown in 28th place right now, 1 lap down and about to go 2 and more. There's a good look at Burton, followed by Kyle Busch now, as Burton has separated. He's gotten between both Kurt and Kyle. And Bowyer's trying to do the same.
Yeah, Bowyer wants to go, but he's pretty happy sitting in that spot there right now. He's in 8th spot. He knows that's going to give him a pretty nice cushion going into next week for that 12th spot.
We haven't shown the 24, but I'll tell you, he has gone backwards again. Jeff is now back to 13th, so obviously that stop did not help him. There he is. He's got Jamie McMurray right alongside of him. McMurray trying to go around him and does. And that'll put him up a spot to 13th. Jeff's going to try the high side. Kenseth. Now here comes Jeff Burton. And Burton with that fresher rubber.
Yeah, it didn't quite clear the 2. He really needed to do that right there. He'll probably be able to make the pass down here in turn 3 and 4, but he'd have really liked to have cleared Kurt Busch.
This is for 5th on the track. And now he finally does clear.
Whoa, sideways.
Nice save, Jeff Burton.
I don't know how these guys do that every lap.
We have seen this the last 2 nights. It has been so much fun watching. I don't know if I'd like to be in the cockpit when that's happening. Sort of settles down now for the moment as everybody gets back into single file with 11 laps to go next time by. Now Kyle's going to try the low line on brother Kurt. And it looks like he's going to get the job done. They come back across the stripe, move Kyle to 6th. And, of course, from Peachtree City, Reed Sorensen. He ran last night in the Nationwide Series, and he's doing pretty doggone good tonight in the 83. He's running 15th right now, and there you see him in that battle with Gordon and Jamie McMurray. He had a good run going last night until he had problems, ended up 34th in that Nationwide race.
Yeah, he got a lap down here earlier tonight, took that waiver and got back on the lead lap and everything. I think he got the lucky dog at one time, got that back. Oh, see Jamie McMurray sliding his car off of turn 4. Opened the inside for Reed Sorensen.
Reed taking a peek, trying to take over that 14th spot. So on the left side, we'll keep that in view. And then here is Kurt Busch and Clint Bowyer going after each other. That is for 7th on the right side.
What's that 1 car? Jamie McMurray's turning right more than he's turning left, I believe, in these corners.
Slides up the track a little bit there. Sorensen trying to clear him. Looks like he'll get it done this time. And then there's David Rudiman into the mix as well, and that is for position because Rudiman's running 16th.
Yeah, and these are valuable points that Jamie McMurray's losing here. Each one of these guys that pass him.
Rudiman was 2 laps down earlier in this race because of a radio issue.
A lot of cars have done some magnificent jobs coming back tonight, especially with all the green flag laps that we had early in this race. Here comes Jamie making another run on the high side, trying to retake the position on the 00 Rudiman.
See Clint Bowyer making that pass on Kurt Busch on the right side of your screen.
So Bowyer owns 7th place for the moment. Right behind into that mix, you saw just for a moment there, the 42, while these two go after each other. All important points position for Jamie McMurray. McMurray 15th right now. He needs actually to have a lot more. Let's go back, check in on Jeff Burton. Boy, Burton is still, I mean, that tail is wagging faster than some dogs that are happy when they get fed.
He's about run all the goodie off of those new tires.
But you can see he's there in the battle with 5th. He's got it, and now he's trying to track down Ryan Newman for 4th.
Yeah, while trying to hold off Kyle Busch.
Oh, Rudiman sideways on the inside of Jamie McMurray.
It's a good thing there's only 6.5 laps to go because these guys are going to run out of rubber. Word we're hearing is Casey Kane comes back out. There he is. And the 29 has gone behind the wall for Kevin Harvick. And there's our race leader checking back in. A 1-second lead now for Tony Stewart, as he is going to be about 5 laps away from picking up victory number 1. Battle for 4th right there, as you've got Burton going underneath. And here comes Kyle.
Yeah, another guy that was a lap down at one time. Jeff Burton sideways again, but he was a lap down at one time in this race. Now he's trying to take over the 4th spot.
Man, these guys look like they've been dirt tracking all night.
Yeah, look at Burton. Gosh, that car is loose.
He is driving as hard as he can right now. Side by side, going down the back stretch with Ryan. Coming up next, Sports Center, as we are down to the last 4 laps next time by.
4 laps to go, 4.
Again, every time off that corner.
Yeah, I tell you, as a driver right now at this point in time, you're racing so hard, you're so tensed up. This is when you get cramps and things like that. Jeff Burton just driving the wheels off of this 31 car.
If he slides one more time, I think Kyle's going to get him here. Although Kyle just got a little tail happy.
Yeah, but it gave him a run that he needed to get to the inside, and that's where Kyle's been his best, is down the bottom. Burton's going to try to go to the high side of Casey Kane in that 9 car.
Well, here's where he's been sliding every time.
Well,
he does it again.
This is what caused Casey Kane to get cracked. He kind of got nudged by Ryan Newman. He might not be happy about it.
Well, we'll keep an eye on it, but
oh, he's
I think he's not happy at all about it.
Oh yeah, he's letting them know.
Good call there, Andy.
And what's that done is allowed Bowyer and the 2 to come
Bowyer
through.
coming by. That's a lot of points that Ryan Newman just lost in trying to battle for that 12th spot.
And Newman trying to come back on him. He's still on the high side of Kurt.
Look at Burton sliding sideways all 4.
Tell you what, next time by it'll be the white flag lap, and it's a good thing. Somebody's going to hit the wall if we keep going. There is your race leader for Tony Stewart. It looks like the streak is going to continue, as his lead right now is 1.3 seconds over Carl Edwards. Another guy that's got
white flag this time.
Big night. Carl Edwards coming home in 2nd if he stays right there. And Jimmy Johnson looks like the Jimmy Johnson of old, guys.
Yeah, and he's been running some of the fastest. If they've been the fastest car the last 5 or 6 laps. So they have really got their program going in the right direction at the right time.
For Tony Stewart, his last win was Kansas back in October of 2009. It's been 31 starts since he has tasted the champagne in victory lane. But here he comes.
Ring the bell, baby. Woo! Nice job, D. Good job, guys.
his 38th win with Carl Edwards second. Jimmy Johnson comes home in third. And in fourth, it will be Jeff Burton with Kyle Busch fifth. Kurt Busch comes back to finish sixth. Bowyer, Newman, Montoya, Ambrose with a good run to finish in the top 10.
Guys, you got it done. That's the only way we had a shot. You guys won this thing in the pits. Awesome job.
They certainly did. He hit the number there. Yeah, this is still going on between Casey and the 39 of Ryan Newman.
I'd say if Casey's smart, that'll be the end of it when they get out of the cars over here.
And we better keep a camera on it because they might have a little bit of a discussion, shall we say. Fireworks going off in the background. And what this means, we can tell you now, the top 10 have now clinched their positions. And that includes Denny Hamlin. And that's mainly because of the problems that Kevin Harvick, our points leader, had. Jamie?
Well, third win here for Tony Stewart, but the first with Darian Grubb. Darian, after practice, you guys weren't one of the top dogs everybody was talking about. How did you make this happen tonight?
I don't know why not. Tony's an incredible driver. The car was really good. We were fast from the time we unloaded. Tony's been qualifying great every week, gives us good pit picks, and his pit crew was incredible tonight. Entire Office Depot, Old Spice team, and everybody at Stewart Haas. Can't thank anybody enough except for like the 39. They came down to do the tire test, and that really helped us out. It's a true team effort, and everybody did an incredible job.
First time this year, this 14 team gets to go to victory lane. Marty?
He's the 11th different driver to win here in 2010. His third win in Atlanta and his 24th start, and he's getting his money's worth in this burnout.
That's pretty cool.
And are we going to climb the fence? Let's talk to second place while we wait to find out. Doc?
And Carl climbing out of the car, and that's the Carl Edwards that we're accustomed to seeing in the top 5 all night, leading laps and in contention down to the final lap.
Yeah, that was fun. Tony just had such a fast car there at the end, but we're back. You know, we're doing it. We're scoring more points than anybody. We're headed into the chase. I feel like we've locked ourselves in, and I just got to thank Aflac for sticking behind us. I mean, that's what they do. They stick behind you when things are bad, and it hasn't been good, and the last couple months have been great. So I'm excited about going to Richmond. Really excited about starting the chase, and we had something that could win the race tonight. And that's a blast, you know.
What turned it around for this team starting in the middle of June?
I can't say what turned it around, but Bob and the guys have just been working hard, and that's what it's about. I mean, you know, when they go to the shop and we're not running the way that they want, you know, they've got to keep digging and keep working, and it's pretty cool that they're able to do that, and everybody's stuck behind us, my fans, and like I said, Aflac and Scotts and Ford and everybody. I know we don't look like we did in 2008, but we're better set to go race for that championship now than we've ever been.
A lot of momentum for Carl Edwards, guys.
And we told you we'd keep a camera on this because Ryan and Casey are going to have a discussion. Remember, these guys go back to days when they were running sprints and midgets. Ryan's smiling, but Casey's not.
Yeah, they both kind of got a beef there.
And I think what Ryan's trying to tell him, he was really just trying to give him a push by the car, a little nudge down the back straightaway, but hit him a little too hard, and of course Casey's not understanding that.
While that continues, let's check in with Jamie Little.
Well, Jimmy Johnson brings it home third. He's watching the action on the screen, too, between those two drivers. Jimmy, you got out there, led some laps tonight. Take us through your night and sum it up for us.
Yeah, it was really a good night. I mean, there were times where, we lost the handle and were able to adjust the car and get it back, something that we've had, struggles with on the 1.5 miles over the last couple months. So all in all, a solid day. I mean, good job in the pits, good job on the track. Glad to get a good run on a track that's been tough on us. This track's hard to get it right, and Cobalt Tool Chevrolet was awesome. So I hope everybody has an awesome holiday tomorrow, and we'll be back and do it again next weekend.
All right, next weekend is the track he's strong at. Marty?
And that'll be Richmond. And of course, we'll have nationwide action on Friday night. And then, of course, we'll have Sprint Cup action on Saturday night. So it is Tony Stewart picking up his first win of the 2010 season. He has now scored more points in the last 12 races than anybody else. Jamie McMurray had the streak of the most points in the last 6 races. And we're waiting for Tony to come out of the car. And he looks spent. These guys have been racing for 4 hours.
It's a long, hard race. I mean, you work hard, as we could saw all of these drivers sliding around. Even the best cars, they were having to work extremely hard.
Looks like Rick Kendrick leaning in the door.
Rick gives his congratulations to Tony.
It's been a great partnership, those two teams.
Tony's going to pick up 2 spots right now. He'll move up to 4th. But as we mentioned, the top 10 have now clinched. Let's send it down to Dave Burns.
All right, here he comes. It's been nearly a year since he's visited Victory Lane, but he is back. Tony Stewart, victorious at Atlanta. So you had us a little nervous with those restarts at the end there, Tony. How nervous were you with a great race car?
Are you kidding me? I didn't hit a restart all night until right there at the end, but golly, man, what a night. I mean, it's just so proud of these guys behind us. They're the ones that got us there. I mean, it was the last pit stop that got us the track position to give me the opportunity. When I got back in traffic, I was in really bad shape, and this one is for my buddy Eric Saunders, who's in Indianapolis. He got hurt really bad in a motocross crash, and he's up in Indianapolis healing, and he's paralyzed right now, but he's one of the toughest young guys I know. So Eric, buddy, this one's for you, pal. So Steve Odlin, Office Depot, Old Spice, U.S. Army Sprint, all these fans at Atlanta. I mean, this was kind of a heartbreak year for these guys, knowing they're going to lose a race next year, but Tornadoes and Haas Automation and Mac Tools, all these guys that help Stuart Haas here, it's just God, I've never been so happy to win in my life.
And 10 extra bonus points going into the chase, guys.
Dave, thanks. We talked that if Tony Stewart could win a race, he would be a threat to win the championship. Well, he won tonight in Atlanta. More coming up from Atlanta on SportsCenter, including a visit with Tony Stewart, as well as what's been an adventurous day in sports. That is coming up next. And don't forget, next weekend, it's on to Richmond. The nationwide next generation car, Friday night, ESPN2, 7 Eastern. And our Sprint Cup race, the race to decide the seedings for the chase for the Sprint Cup. It's on ABC next Saturday. Race at 7:30, NASCAR Countdown at 7 Eastern time. So he got trapped back in traffic for a little while, but he rallied back to the front, pulled away at the end. Tony Stewart wins. He clinches a place in the chase for the Sprint Cup, as well as a number of other drivers. And again, more coverage coming up next on SportsCenter. We send it up to John Anderson and Kevin Nagandi. Tony Stewart, the winner tonight here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Gentlemen,